saying that. So just take a listen to this about Rashee Rice from Nate yesterday.
Hey, man. 6 weeks, okay? You came back. They got you in the mix. And then the Buffalo Bills straight up asked you, you ready to beat man coverage? And then the Denver Broncos asked you the next week, straight up, hey, bro, you ready to beat man coverage? Okay. Now, any team with any pulse is going to say, hey, man, that's Derek Stingley. You ready to beat man coverage? It has become apparent that although he can create space, although he does have a good telepathic sense for what Patrick likes, especially when he scrambles, he does not give good effort when it's man-to-man, period.
He goes on from there. But that last part, that's something we hadn't really heard. And that tells me that there's people in the organization that are talking about that as well. And you're like, well, why does that matter? One, obviously the play on the field, but long-term contract stuff. Do you trust that player, not only is he capable of winning man-to-man against man-to-man, but is the effort here? Like we've seen this being discussed with other receivers in the league before where, I think it was George Pickens actually on their last primetime game, they were pointing out just like, when he knows he's not getting the ball or when he knows it's not going to be a route that maybe he can win, he just lazy. And is that happening here with Rashee Rice a little bit?
I got to say, that is one of the most damning things you can say about any athlete. Mm-hmm. If you're saying they're giving bad effort, that is genuinely and always the most concerning thing pretty much anybody can say about you. And then when I watch him play, and I hadn't really thought about it that way because I was willing to use maybe the injury is part of the excuse, right? He's still coming back from a major injury, missed 6 games. Maybe the rhythm isn't the same. But if what Nate Taylor's saying is in a do-or-die game, in several do-or-die games, when he gets in man-to-man coverage and he thinks that this is a less winning situation, he's not running the full effort of the route, major concerns. And yeah, Rice already has an issue with the contract stuff for the obvious stuff, which is he's been suspended, he's been hurt, his production is now taken a dip. So whatever he thought the number was, it's probably a little bit less than it was going into last year for the first 4 games.
Yeah, in terms of a contract, the questions you would have is, do you believe the off-the-field stuff is going to still be off the field? And then the effort, if that is truly something now that they're worried about. I will say, though, if we're being fair about the production, though, he's only played in 7 games due to his own doing. He's got 520 yards, and I know you can't always just extrapolate it out, but I was talking actually to Mink about this last night. He called me, and we were going back and forth looking at some of these numbers. We all realize, right, in a full season, there's a good chance Rashee Rice would have been like an 1,100-yard receiver again. And you can say, well, he wasn't. Well, I understand that. But my point is, so this idea, like, is he productive? I think he's a productive player, but is he a legit number 1? That's the question. Is he legit number 1? Is he somebody you can count on that if I give you a very nice extension, that it's not going to make me look bad? And it's not going to backfire.
And in terms of actual production, that's the toughest position to determine that on sometimes.
In terms of actual production, Cody, he's like right now he's got 46 catches, 520, 5 touchdowns in just 7 games. So he would easily be a 1,000-yard receiver, I think, if we're being honest.
17-game schedule, 1,263 yards is his current average.
Which, so statistically, you're like, okay, nothing wrong with that. But is the effort part going to scare you off? Is the obvious off-the-field stuff going to scare you off? Those are the questions the Chiefs are going to have to answer long-term.
So, as it sits right now, based on his average, he would probably finish top 20 or so in total yardage at the end of the season. Probably a little bit better than that, maybe even top 15 in total yardage. But if they're saying effort isn't always there, that's a problem, which means focus isn't always there.
Well, in the biggest spots, right?
Yeah.
The biggest moments, the drops have come in the biggest moments.
And again, I can't blame that, like, maybe some part of this suspension of these things. But again, he did those things to himself.
Sure.
For the most part. Like all of not the injury, right? He can't control that. But certainly the reason why he had a weird start to the season, those are all self-inflicted wounds. My issue is that there was a time, certainly a time, even earlier this year, where I thought Rashee Rice had a chance to take the leap the way, and maybe not the leap, all the way leap, but take the kind of leap that you see like Jackson Smith and Jigba taking, where he's a good wide receiver. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, he's one of the better wide receivers in the league. Zay Flowers has had a really good year, like a step-up year for where he is. And I thought maybe he was going to enter that category of wide receiver. and take that leap forward, at least for the second half. I understood his end of season numbers because of the 6-game suspension might not be there. And now you're hearing effort questions and these things. Those are the kind of guys, and it would give me real concern. The way he plays these final 4 games, where it looks like their playoff hopes are mostly dashed, if effort continues to be an issue or gets worse because they're not playing for something, well, then, yeah, I'd have concerns. We talked about this with George Pickens. People don't want to pay George Pickens because he takes plays off, Gold. He gave terrible effort in a second half of a Dallas Cowboys game in which they were fighting for their playoff life. You can't have players just like mailing it in for halves at key positions when you got Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. And so I will be kind of, after Nate's comments, watching his effort and his effort in every route more closely the final 4 games of the season to see if this is not something, because again, if Nate's noticing it, he's probably hearing it from someone in the organization, and that's been a regular complaint. Well, then, yeah. And because of the focus seems to drop in the big moments, I think we have to pay more attention to it the rest of the season.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting from Nate Taylor yesterday, our full conversation with him. If you missed it, up on the Odyssey app. And of course, wherever you get your podcasts, Drew has the 1 o'clock hour and that Nate Taylor segment isolated as well. So you guys can listen to that at some point in the future. We'll get into the Chiefs again with Ross Tucker here in 20 minutes or so. But I want to pivot to the Royals briefly. You know, we're in that hot stove season. We got winter meetings going on, and you have a lot of rumors out there. I mean, a ton about the Royals. This outfielder, they're connected to. I mean, there must be 5 or 6 of them at this point that
they're pretty much all the same outfielder, but yes.
But they're the varying reports. We all know the Royals need an outfielder. Everybody knows that. We know that they have a surplus of starting pitching, and so those two are matching, and that's why we're getting all this. And then last night, we won't spend a ton of time on this, but the positive news for once, the draft lottery actually went in their favor. They kind of got screwed since they redid the rules on the draft lottery. The Royals were the 16th, ranked team or in the standings last year because of where they were at, obviously. And the odds to get the number 1 overall pick were 0.08 or 0.8. So they weren't going to get the number 1 overall pick. But their odds told them they shouldn't have been the 6th overall pick, and they are. So they're 16th, and they're going to pick 6th. So that's a good thing. I know it's baseball draft. It's not the same vibes as a NFL draft. But, hey, a nice little break if you're looking for one to help them build moving forward.
You know, they've only picked 6 twice in their career. Do you know who they took?
I do. I don't want to spoil it for you, but I do know.
Zach Greinke was one, and
our guy,
Jack Caglione.
Yep.
This is what makes their offseason interesting. And when I was reading these reports from Ken Rosenthal, so, you've probably seen some of the names already. Are they interested, or are they going to sign Harrison Bader? Are they interested, or are they going to try to trade for Duran, who is another, left-handed hitting player, so that seems at least a little less likely, right? And then people were asking the questions about Kyle Tucker, some of the ones that are even way less.
Kyle Tucker, the money's just going to be insane.
Yeah, way less realistic. Insane. But we know that I think that they're going to end up muddying these waters in the, a right-handed hitting platoon outfielder, because here's the reality about their offseason. The reason why you keep hearing the same names. The names, let's just call them in the Bader-esque category of players, even though it's been, I would say, 4 or 5 different names that they've been tossing around in that area. The reason why it's the same guy is I think a huge chunk of the Royals season relies on the continued development of Carter Jensen and Jack Caglione.
Of course.
And so the right-handed hitting outfielders, not saving 2026 anyway, that is going to have to come from the young players who they called up, who they're going to need to. And Carter Jensen was excellent in his time up, not so much for Jack Caglione. And they're going to need Carter Jensen to keep being what he was, and Jack Caglione to take a significant step forward. And specifically just in the power numbers alone. If he's still a 230 hitter with a 310 or 320 on base, but slugs a bunch of homers, fine, I'll live my life. But that's why they're operating in this. But they've got to actually close a deal with somebody.
And that's the thing. Last year we all knew, we all heard over and over, they were really, really close on, Santander, and they were really, really close on this player. And I believe that they certainly were interested in those players, but they didn't get the deal done. And based on some of the production from some of those players, it turned out to be a good thing, right? What's his name? Profar got busted for PEDs, right? Didn't he? Thank goodness they did not end up signing him. So they they caught a break there, but they were interested.
And Santander was also
did not have a great year, even though the Blue Jays did as an organization. He was not a huge part of that. Didn't play a whole lot. So this go around, I'm kind of with you where we hear all these names, and I do ultimately think they will trade for a outfielder. I don't know which one yet, but I don't want to hear us in January and February, or the organization like, well, we were really close on blank, I don't care. Like, that stuff gets leaked out, and I get it, and they are interested in certain players, but at some point you got to close the deal too. I don't care how close you were. Why didn't you close the deal? And so, and that last year it's one thing, but if that happens 2 years in a row, when we all know this team, the core group is the core group, and you're looking for outfield help as bad as it was in left and right field last year, go close a deal. And I'm being realistic. They're not going and getting Kyle Tuckers of the world. I get it. Those are not the waters that they really are going to swim in. I understand, as much as I would love that. But also, it feels like, are we going to be sitting here like, oh, they were close on this guy, Cody, and they kind of settled for blank. And hopefully that's not the case.
I saw Jake Myers is the other guy, if you
Houston.
guys are paying attention. He's a trade candidate. He's a 29-year-old center fielder who's coming off a career year in Houston with a 292 average, 354 on base.
What's the name that would, you actually are accepting? Harrison Bader, actually, I think, is a very realistic option. I'm not totally sold that his offensive numbers from last year are sustainable. That's my only worry. Great defensive player, did have a really nice offensive season, and he's not going to break the bank. That's probably why this is a realistic option. I saw MLB trade rumor.
Jacob Myers would be pretty high on my list.
Bader, I'm talking about, sorry.
Oh, yes.
We can get to Bader, just... He is projected, this was back 3 weeks ago from MLB trade rumors, to be on a 2-year, $26 million deal. That feels like exactly where the Royals would be versus some of these other names.
Look, Austin Hayes I've seen, Bader I've had. Myers would move the needle more for me because as much as we talk about corner outfield, the fact that Kyle Isbell, a left-handed hitting guy, could get switched out for a right-handed hitting guy, and Isbell could move throughout the outfield, I think would help them significantly. I think we don't talk about upgraded center field as much because the corners have been so bad, but they need upgrades across the outfield. So that would probably excite me. So he would be pretty high on the list of potential guys. I mean, obviously Duran, but again,
Duran's probably the name that excites people the most, but it's the left-handed. Like that's been a name for going back to the trade deadline last year that Royals fans have keyed in on, and I would be excited about that. I guess the exciting name is not always the best name. But my guess is that's the name that Royals fans would gravitate toward more.
I will say, though, the one thing that was interesting about Rosenthal talking about their offseason is his mention in his article about Jonathan India. So in this radio appearance and then later an article, he said that the rest of the league was like, you sure? Like the rest of the league was surprised that they retained Jonathan India. Reminder, they paid him $8 million despite the fact they could have just said, nah, we're good, India. We've moved on. And like the fear being like, and we've talked about this amongst other things, the sunk cost fallacy. Oh, we gave up Brady Singer for him.
Right.
We can't just give up on Jonathan India now. So I think there are Royals fans, including a couple of texters now, that are fearful they won't spend money in the offseason because they gave Jonathan India $8 million. I've watched John Sherman enough. I'd be stunned if they didn't bring in an Austin Hayes or Harrison Bader because they paid $8 million to Jonathan India.
No, I think they're going to bring in...
They just wanted a right-handed hitting infielder, to pair up with Massey.
There's going to be a trade or an outfield signing. I just am saying I don't want to be sitting here in February and on some of the quote-unquote bigger names. I'm not talking about Kyle Tucker, but some of the bigger names that we were, they were really close, Cody. They were so close. I don't want to hear that. I just don't want to hear that for 2 straight off seasons. That'd be my only thing.
What's Kyle Tucker's estimate?
I'd have to go pull
because they were willing to pay Santander quite a bit of money.
It was the extra year they weren't willing to do, if you believe.
He hit 175 in 54 games last year, by the way. He was pretty bad.
He was not part of the Blue Jays' big push last year.
No, maybe maybe eventually they cut him and the Royals can get a
projected contract. Yeah, $400 million.
What? That's as much.
This is one again.
Okay, so we can let
this
that
Jim Bowden or whatever predict the Yankees are going to sign him for 10 years, $427 million. This is why I don't want to hear they were close on him because no, they're not. No, they're not, Cody. They're not close on signing Kyle Tucker.
They were not. It turns out they were not willing to give that to Santander, and I just think that there's any free agent in that range, they're never coming to Kansas City. They will always choose a different market. Somebody will pay them $350 or $400 million. I don't know about you. I have a very difficult. I just have a hard time imagining this. Any player that they would pay that is not homegrown that amount of money.
I agree.
I just still think it all comes back to the same thing. They're relying, and I don't think it's the wrong way to approach it. They had a superstar prospect who came up through the minors, crushing the baseball. And look, I think internally they are worried about some of the swing deficiencies that appear to be part of the problem right now for Jack Caglione and why he struggled in the big leagues. But I also think when you got a guy like that and he's done with AAA, you got to count on a top prospect to be better. You got to just count on a top prospect to be better.
You brought in
that's crazy.
2 new faces to the hitting staff. We'll see what that brings.
Yeah,
Obviously,
maybe
the players have to execute, but you retain Zumwalt, but you bring in 2 other individuals that were not part of the organization. So let's see what they bring, right? And that'll be, the huge focus. I think everybody's attention is going to be on the outfield offense in particular heading into 2026. On Friday, we're going to have Josh Verner join us. We got a lot of rumors out there. Perfect time to check in with Vern. It's been a bit hot stove season. So Vern will join us actually for Fan Club Friday here in a few days. So it could be good to check in with Vern about where things are at. If he's buying some of the rumors that are out there, what does he think the path is moving forward as winter meetings are going on? I think in Orlando, right? That's where winter meetings are at. We should just fly down there and say screw it. You know what? Just fly down there.
You do realize that's actively where my wife is, right?
So you would have had a hotel room. You would have been set. You would have been good to go.
I could have had a free hotel room. I could be in Orlando chopping it up with some MLB GMs,
Yeah.
But she comes back tomorrow, so.
Could just done a show down there. Go stop over at Disney World real quick,
Pop by.
The weather down there, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's 80 degrees,
much
or
better
70s at least, maybe not 80s. I don't know.
Based on the FaceTime she did with the kids this morning, it looked like it was quite sunny. And her
get that melatonin,
Yeah. It looked quite sunny, and the beach was right there. The kids begged to go. We're like, that's not how this works.
Vitamin D from the sun.
Has to go. I've never been to Disney World or Land or whichever one's.
See, this is
really.
No.
Never? Oh.
We've talked about this.
Drew, I don't know if you know this, but it's expensive.
But this would have been the chance to go while your wife already has a room for work. That's how you can save some money. She's already there for work. You guys have a hotel room. Then you just got to pay the crazy fees for the park passes.
Yeah, no big deal.
Just a few grand for those.
That wouldn't have been, if we were going to stay after her work trip, that'd have been, well, no, but then you can't get the room. Oh, boy, it's a real tough. Then I would just be like taking him to Disney World by myself. That's no fun. Wait, you got to do actual work stuff.
Briefly, I'm curious. Since you've never been, if you were to go now, would you feel like you would do the thing? You would stay at one of the resorts there as well?
Way
or
too
any,
expensive.
Okay.
Go have breakfast with get those pancakes there and it costs $30.
Yeah.
Maybe that, fine.
Go get breakfast with the characters.
I think we're more likely to maybe do the Disneyland one because they like Mario, so you can do Super Mario World or some of the Universal.
Text line. I guess I didn't catch it either. Someone said, Drew, did you say melanin or melatonin? You said
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
I guess
thought it said
melatonin.
Yeah, she's gonna go to sleep. She's gonna go take a nap.
Hey man, trip away with the kids. Maybe you do need a melatonin. Take a nap.
I didn't catch it either.
Thank you for the correction.
I did not catch
melanin,
that.
Yes.
I did
yes, not melatonin.
I didn't catch it either.
Slightly
You'd like to be awake when you're at Disney World. Yeah, that's otherwise you're missing out.
Coming up in 10 minutes, Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider, is going to join us. I saw something in the college football world yesterday come across, and guys, I think this is going to be the future of college athletics. And with that, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Utah, according to Front Office Sports, is the first athletics department that is moving into a new for-profit entity. So their entire athletic program is now going to be into this new for-profit entity that is going to be owned by the university and a private equity firm and select donors. And then they're going to get, why are they doing this? A $500 million capital infusion of cash. Operational expertise from the equity firm is what they phrase it as, at least. And they go on to say that, the private equity firm will not have, they claim, say in, head coaching hires or things like that.
It says they can't decide it. It doesn't say that they can't have influence over it.
Yeah. So, look, this is the future of college athletics, I think. And while it continues to go to the basically going to be minor league football.
Can I ask how this isn't going to get screwed up? We all understand over the last 5 years what private equity firms have been doing out of these, right? Which is purchase them, rip them of their real estate, go bankrupt, and then get their cash flow out of it, and then kind of leave these businesses in their wake. The old Red Lobster way or Olive Garden or whatever they've done over the last couple of years. How is it that these private equity firms are planning on getting their money out of this? How are they planning on recouping this $500 million? Do they have any access to the real estate holdings of the University of Utah as a portion of this, or the athletic department? Because I don't think they're just going to slap a patch on the Utah jersey and recoup $500 million. Because, Gold, let's be honest, this ain't charity.
Sure.
These private equity firms, this isn't like
Here's what's interesting,
this
though,
isn't
too.
David Booth cutting a check just for the goodwill. He's not doing this. They're not doing this for charity. They want to make money on this.
The wrinkle to this, though, is that the university, so you mentioned the donors, so the university in this is going to offer, quote, a prominent group of donors the ability to purchase a stake in this new Utah Brands and Entertainment, which is going to be the name of this company. And so those same donors that have been giving money, they're now going to have a chance to buy, a 5% stake in this new Utah athletics department, basically. And that's the other wrinkle to this entire thing.
How you planning on getting the money back?
I know.
I mean, how many stadium sponsorships, jersey sponsorships, T-shirts with Utah's logo on them can you? Because they mentioned it. I just don't like the money seems so fake and so big. And I understand people buy NFL teams and they get equity share out of these things, but eventually you can sell an NFL team. Can you just sell your stake in the Utah Athletics? Will it grow over time? I don't know. It seems everyone's going to do it. Big 12's going to do it. SEC's going to do it.
Well, the conferences have already been the Big Ten already is working on that. This is the first time an individual school, though, is basically creating a completely separate entity for it. I wonder, though, if we're going to just see more and more the separation of the, like, let's say, the athletic department from the university. Like, that's what's happening from a business sense. But I truly mean, like, we all associate K-State, MU, KU, of course, to the university. That's why it is what it is. But are we going to see further separation of these athletic departments from the university entirely? And that's what this feels like as well. But yeah, it's risky, Cody, because if you're Utah, you're getting $500 million. It's a nice, basically you're getting a nice upfront cash, but
NIL,
then
stadium improvements, you can do whatever you want.
You better hope the long-term revenues continue. Otherwise, you're going to have some big problems.
I think
they're giving you essentially like a loan of $500 million.
Yeah, it's definitely risky. But if you're Utah and I mean, almost like in your own backyard, you're seeing what BYU's doing, not from a private equity standpoint, but the money that they have and their ability to compete. You're almost banking, like you guys are saying, they're banking on making it to the playoff basically either every year or at least a majority of the years, and not just that, but trying to make a run at a national title just from the money standpoint of all that you get for doing that. But it's definitely a risk, I guess, just as anything is in terms of that sort of thing.
I think it's like wolf in the hen house kind of stuff. I think the money looks so good, you're not going to be able to resist it. And then you thought answering to donors sucked before. Just wait till a private equity firm who's got a $500 million loan out on your ass. Wait. You thought it was bad
really in
before.
trouble.
Just wait.
Whatever your revenues level, whatever your revenues at now, you better hope it continues to increase or at minimum stays the same. Because if it dips because suddenly your football program's not any good and attendance goes down and all this kind of stuff goes down, then that's when you're in big trouble. Yeah. So we'll see. Fascinating stuff, though, out of Utah. Won't be the last time we see a deal like this. Up next, we get back to the NFL with our Odyssey NFL insider, Ross Tucker. Want to ask him about the Chiefs organizationally. Does he agree that it's all about kind of the defense in the offseason in terms of reset, or is there other areas as well? That's coming up right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
The Chiefs have been scoring a ton of points lately, and that means I'm saving a ton of money at Hy-Vee. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs because I score big fuel savings when I shop Hy-Vee the day after any Chiefs game. Win or lose, I'll earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents a gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. So the more we score, the more I save, only for my friends at Hy-Vee.
It's Thirsty Thursday at Hy-Vee. Time to stock up the bar and fill up your tank. Earn 50 cents per gallon fuel savings on every $50 purchase of wine, beer, hard seltzer, and spirits. Mix and match all your favorite libations and get a 50-cent fuel saver with every $50 purchase. Stack up the savings and your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday at your Kansas City, Missouri Hy-Vee. Product or promotion differs by location. Offers valid where legal, available while supplies last.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Men, we hear it all the time. A man comes in to get his erectile dysfunction treated, and very soon thereafter, he tells us that his relationship is renewed. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and you should know that ED doesn't just affect you, it also often affects your partner. They can feel undesired, unwanted, they may even feel like you don't love them anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we've successfully treated thousands of men for ED with protocols that have success rates as high as 90%. Which means if you're like most men, we can get you back to the guy you used to be. You could even last up to an hour or more and find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and give your partner the gift of renewed love. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in our office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at usps.com/holidays.
See website for details. Bills Happen is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Hey, bills happen! So when you need extra cash fast, go to billshappen.com. Have you been turned down? Are your credit cards maxed out? Do you have bad credit? Go to billshappen.com. You could find a lender and get up to $5,000 cash as early as tomorrow. Billshappen.com is safe, secure, and all online. Just remember, when you need cash, go to billshappen.com. Billshappen.com for the cash you need now. Billshappen.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people. We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-9834.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Chiefs coverage this past hour has been brought to you by WaysideWaves.org. Save a life this holiday season.
Wayside rescues thousands of animals each year. Your gift today provides a complete circle of life-saving care they need to heal and find loving homes. Donate today, and your gift will be matched. Visit WaysideWaves.org to make your life-saving gift today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold, coming up in 15 minutes or so, we'll get to what Travis Kelce had to say today on a New Heights podcast, of course, with him and his brother. Remember in the locker room, we kind of set the scene, what it was like with Travis, kind of going through everything that just occurred for the season, it felt like, from that game, still in uniform, just sitting there staring straight ahead in the locker room. That image that we kind of painted for you, did not speak to the media after the game, and so we wanted to hear his thoughts. We've got some of that for you from his podcast, talking about his performance this entire year, and clearly the frustration and reality setting in about the postseason. So we'll get to that momentarily, but I want to welcome in our Odyssey NFL insider, Ross Tucker. Insider Calls brought to you by Nationwide for your insurance and financial needs. Nationwide is on your side. Ross, I want to actually just start right there. I mean, you watch this football team and you see towards the end of that game against the Texans, and not only the big moments, just not making the big plays, which has been an issue all year, but the body language, I feel like the mental fatigue that has kind of set in for this team. Do you sense that as well when you watch this team?
I think it's one of the most fascinating things I can remember in recent NFL history. You know, the line I've been using, and I'm being facetious, of course, but it feels like they did a deal with the devil for like a 10-year period, or maybe you could argue a 7-year period, where they said, hey, can we, if you let us make all the clutch plays and find a way to win these games late for 7 years, after that, we're fine. Like we'll make that deal right now.
Right.
Because it felt like for 7 years, you would watch a Chiefs game, and with rare exception, late in those games, they were going to make the play to win the game. And this year, it's been, for the most part, the opposite. It's like the deal with the devil is over and rent is due or whatever, and it's like that fountain has shut off. And it almost feels like when you see Rashee Rice have a drop or Travis with the bobble, it almost feels like it's contagious. It's like winning is contagious, but it feels like on some level, so is losing, so is not making the play.
Yeah, and I don't think this is an excuse by any means. I think this is reality, which is, do you think you played the sport, Ross? I mean, you play 19, 20 games a year like the Chiefs have been doing for the last 7 years, essentially, it feels like. Does that finally catch up to you physically and mentally, where you got so many of these core pieces and an aging roster and a couple of the key players, and Chris Jones and Kelsey particularly?
So I don't know what it's like to play that many games in a season, let alone however many seasons they've done it. What I can tell you is watching the Eagles this year and what they're going through in their bid to repeat makes what the Chiefs have done like almost unfathomable. Like it is incredibly impressive. The 7 straight AFC championship games, because right now it's going to be an uphill battle for the Eagles to get to one of those. The 3 straight Super Bowls. I mean, it is winning a couple of them. It's really, really unbelievable. And the whole league is designed for that to not be able to happen when you think about salary cap and the draft and injuries and, the length of the season. So I guess it felt like, I don't know if I could say it felt like this would happen at some point, but felt like they would have kind of a reset year. I guess the Patriots kind of had their reset year the year when Brady tore his ACL and he was out and they didn't make the playoffs. So I think they were still like 11-5 that year, which is remarkable. But I think that maybe this is sort of the divide between Chiefs Reid Mahomes, or at least Mahomes 1.0 and Mahomes 2.0, which is probably what the team will look like moving forward after this year.
So we have both said, Ross, we don't blame the Chiefs for not have making a lot of changes lately. Why would you? You go to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row, you win 2 of them in a row. Pretty hard time to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I better figure some things out. Everything's turning up aces. But Andy has shown a propensity to make some changes here or there, or our bigger fear is is there someone in the building, like on the 4th down call, which we hated in the game on Sunday, specifically the play call, but also just going for it there versus other times when you could have gone for it, whatever. Is there a guy in the building now that they've worked together this long that will tell Andy no? You're in these rooms. Do you think that there's enough of that for Andy? Do you think he needs some of that? How do you think that internally works?
Well, yeah, I think Brett Veach is that guy. I mean, I think Brett Veach is more than willing to tell Andy what he thinks. And I think Spags is another guy. I mean, they've been around each other long enough. I think the answer is yes. I would just tell you, I had no problem whatsoever with their roster coming into the year. None. I mean, like their linebackers with Tranquil and Bolton, you know, I thought they had enough on the D-line. I mean, you never feel like you have quite enough there, but Karlaftis and Chris Jones and Dana, the back end, you know, having Watson and McDuffie, you know, Connor. My point would be, at no point, I hear all these people now saying they got old. They have an old roster, you know. They got old. Like, where are they so old? I mean, you know, the offensive line, they had a rookie and a second-year guy on the left side. Creed and Trey are in the prime of their careers, and Juwan Taylor is not a great player and but he hasn't been since he's been there, and this has been going on. I feel like Travis is better this year than he was last year. The running backs, I don't know, Kareem's been pretty good. I think that the receivers have been disappointing, but they're not old, and those are guys that I really thought they were going to be incredibly dynamic with Hollywood, Worthy, and Rashee Rice. So I think people that are now blaming the roster and whatever, I think that is a lot of hindsight. And I think it's a lot. I didn't hear any of these people saying any of this stuff before the season.
When you look at, you'd mentioned the Eagles and their issues. Let's pivot to them for just a minute. Are they going to have a Jalen Hurts reckoning in that town at some point? I watched Patrick Mahomes play. He did not have a good game. I think the stats lines look similar. Those two games were not equal as far as poor play goes, in my opinion. Jalen Hurts looked lost in that game. And it's been a weirdo season for them, too, where they lead the division, but they don't look the same. Do you think, I mean, fans in Philly always turn on people pretty quick, but do you think that there's another year of this and then they'll start looking a different direction?
Well, I mean, listen, I go on in Philadelphia every Wednesday, and there are already people that think that if Hurts plays really poorly against the Raiders, that they should give Tanner McKee a chance.
That's insane.
Which is sort of stunning, of course. But, Hurts has not played very well over the last month. And McKee's done well every time he's gotten an opportunity. And I think some people are just curious as to what the offense would look like if McKee was running it instead of Hurts. I don't think that's going to happen because of the money that they've invested in Hurts, the success they've had with Hurts, and I think the concern about how much that would damage the relationship. I would say the flip side is I think people are, they know they have a really good roster still. They have a really talented team. The defense is still pretty darn good, and that maybe Jalen just doesn't have it right now. I mean, the thing is his legs have always been such a big factor, and he's just not using them very much. And when he does, it just doesn't feel like it's to the same level or extent as we've seen before. So those are just some of the things that people are talking about that I find interesting.
We're talking to Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider. How about Indianapolis, man? This Phillip Rivers story, I can't get enough of it because I'm fascinated about how this is going to play out, whether or not he even plays this week. To me, that's too quick, but I'm looking more like the Monday night game against the 49ers. But what do you make of their decision with all these injuries, the unfortunate Daniel Jones injuries at this point, including the Achilles now that's going to take him out for the rest of the year? 44 years old. He's a grandfather, Ross, and he's going to play some games here for the Colts. What do you make of it?
Well, I hope he does play, and I hope he lights it up. I mean, would there be anybody out there rooting against Philip?
Ross, I have a flyer bet on him for comeback player of the year now at 15-1. So please, by all means, yes.
Also, you're 46. Have you officially announced whether or not you're coming back?
Well, I was thinking about it, but I just didn't want to. I didn't want to reset the clock on my Hall of Fame candidacy.
Fair, yeah, true.
I mean, it's already been 17 years and I haven't got in, so I didn't want to add 5 more years to that. It's really, obviously, a truly unique situation. Really, by the way, on some level, incredibly sad situation. You know, Daniel Jones was having such a good year, then he breaks the leg, hadn't been quite as good, then this happens, and they have a lot to figure out because they'd kind of already, with the Sauce Gardner trade, gone all in for this year, and then also were more or less committing to Daniel Jones for next year.
Right.
And not only will it be a while until he gets back from the Achilles tear, but he now has a really, really long track record of injuries, a really long track record to the point where it's hard to kind of fully invest in him. I guess Anthony Richardson's under contract for next year as well. But, guys, I mean, Anthony Richardson would be the quarterback in this game and down the stretch if he hadn't, in pregame warmups with like a stretchy band or whatever, hit himself in the eye and broke his orbital bone. I mean, you really
just cursed.
Cannot make up like the Colts right now. You can't make this up. They signed a 44-year-old grandfather who hasn't played in 5 years because their quarterback with a broken leg tore his Achilles, and his backup slingshotted himself in the head in pregame warmups.
Jeez. Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. Now, do you think Phillip Rivers can win? What are we talking? They need 2 wins probably at least, right, down the stretch here?
Yeah, I would think so. 10 wins to give themselves a chance.
I guess, take them off the board for just now, since we're talking about them. How many teams do you actually think can win the Super Bowl? At some point, the Colts might have been mentioned because of how good they were playing, but, I mean, how long is your list knowing that the Chiefs won't stand in the way of the AFC, at least at this moment? We don't think is going to happen. And then on the NFC side, it feels like a huge wash of teams that feel like they're of similar quality.
I think the Rams are the best team in football.
Agreed.
By a decent margin. And I think the Seahawks are the second best team in football, which is a whole other story about, having to have – think about that. The difference between whoever wins that division is going to be 2 home playoff games to go to the Super Bowl or 3 road playoff games. I know that maybe on some level it makes the stakes higher and it's great, but something seems off there. Something seems – it was like the Vikings and Lions last year. Something seems not quite right when there's that much of a difference between – it could come down to a tiebreaker, and that's the difference. But I think those are the 2 best teams. The AFC, what's so fascinating about them and probably maddeningly frustrating for Chiefs fans, think about this. The 2 teams are the best team in football, 11-2 New England, 11-2 Denver, are both underdogs this Sunday at home against teams that don't have double-digit wins. The Bills are favored in New England. The Packers are favored in Denver. And we talked about this a lot on the Even Money Betting podcast. It's a great time, actually, Alex, if you're looking for bets, to bet the NFC minus 2.5 in the Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, actually, that's a great idea. Yep.
Because they're going to be favored by more than that. It's probably going to be the Rams, maybe Seahawks, maybe somebody else plays really well. But, they're going to be favored by more than that just based on what the public opinion is of the Patriots and Broncos. But it also just goes to show you that even if the Chiefs just got in the tournament somehow, they would still have a chance because there's not some other great team that people are really, really scared of.
Ross Tucker, Odyssey NFL Insider. Great stuff as always, man. Appreciate it. Safe travels wherever you're headed this week or tomorrow, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you doing Thursday Night Football or no?
Nope. This week I have Jets at Jags on CBS on Sunday.
Yeah, Jags are playing well.
I love doing TV games for teams I've never done before because then a new audience kind of gets to see me and listen for the first time. And then the following weekend, I can't tell you my TV game yet, but I will be in the booth with Kevin Harlan Monday night for hopefully the Phillip Rivers-led Colts against the Niners.
That
would be amazing.
Get to see it in real life.
That's what I'm hoping for that as well. Thank you, Ross. Appreciate it, man.
See you guys.
That's Ross Tucker, Odyssey NFL Insider. Insider calls are brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. Yeah, the Phillip Rivers stuff is like he's right though. Like, how are you not kind of rooting for it to happen?
Even though well, here's the thing: the only people are the people who maybe hated Phillip Rivers when he played for the Chargers against Chiefs. That's a completely different Phillip Rivers. This old man Rivers. He's 44 years old, coming off his couch to play 5 years later. I don't have the same
hope he gets to start.
To hate Phillip Rivers.
I just mean
good luck, man.
I want him to start. Like I hope he doesn't just get signed to the practice squad and never gets to start. Like they didn't sign on the practice squad for him not to get an opportunity to start.
Said he could play this Sunday. I'm not
this
saying
Sunday
he will, but
seems
he said
kind of crazy though. That's a short turnaround for this Sunday.
That's Disney movie stuff. You're on your couch on a Sunday afternoon, and the following Sunday you're playing an NFL football game 5 years after the last time. That's insane.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll talk about Chris Jones. You heard Ross Tucker mentioning that he doesn't actually think their roster in certain areas is aging the way maybe it's been discussed. So we'll get into Chris Jones and whether or not you're confident that he can do what he just did, frankly, on Sunday more often in 2026 when he's a year older. So that's coming up in a bit. Thinking of another player that is obviously up there in age and whether or not he'll play another year, Travis Kelce. He did not speak to the media, as we know, in the locker room after the loss, but he did talk this morning or yesterday, but the New Heights podcast is now out with his brother Jason, and this is what Travis had to say just about everything going through his mind and his performance as of late.
Obviously, looking at the playoffs late in the season right now, it's not looking too great for us right now. You know, it's a crazy league. Anything can happen, and that's, you know, the little bit of hope that I have. But man, this is a tough reality to be in. It's a feeling, especially dropping the ball late in the game like that when we were on our last chance to make something shake.
I hear you.
You put in all this work to, you know, be there for your guys, and I just wasn't that. I wasn't that.
I do got to point out, I think that catch would have been pretty damn impressive catch. That was a tough one. I think sometimes the ball just doesn't fall your way, and you guys have had the epitome of that this year. I know the competitor you are, and you know how badly you want it, how badly Pat wants it, the work you guys put in. So I feel for you for sure.
I'm going to always show up to work and give it my all, and if there's a game to be played, I'm going to make it the most important game of the world. We got 4 games left, and go put my heart on the line for these guys because they deserve that. Chiefs Kingdom, you guys deserve that, and we're going to keep this thing rolling, man. We're going to keep trying to find a way to win.
I think that was a record in a minute 11 clip. Like I think that was about eight F-bombs in about a minute 10 clip. Look, I have no doubt, as much as we can question other people, I have no doubt on what his effort level is going to be in the Final 4 games. And it could be the Final 4, and I think it is going to be the Final 4 of his NFL career. I really think that is, unfortunately, where this is trending, despite statistically he is having a way better season than he's had in multiple years. But I can't, you could clearly hear the frustration because he knows it. There has been some big drops that have directly led to points in losses, and it stinks for someone that, of course, has been such a crucial part of why this dynasty even exists.
They just sound lost. He had said in there, quote, "I always feel I've had the answers in the past, and this year I just can't find them."
Yeah.
They sound lost. And for this group, I could see how that could happen quickly. We have pointed out some of the stats that have been so impressive over this run, and I still think the most impressive one is that the Chiefs season has never ended before overtime of the AFC Championship game. Here's that streak's coming to an end.
It is, Cody.
Well, I only got a couple more weeks of saying that one as far as it relates to the season, but that's what makes this so difficult. I could see how easy it would be, even easier, Gold, than teams that are used to losing and when things go south in a hurry, or mediocre teams where things go south. For this team, for Travis Kelce to say, we've always had the answers and this season we just don't, I think is a very honest answer as it relates to it. And look, I know Jason's his brother and he's going to stand up, and that ball was a little behind Travis Kelce. My stance is always the same. You're an NFL wide receiver. If the ball hits you in your two hands, it hits both hands, especially at the same time it hits both hands. It's your job to catch the ball. And I think sometimes we don't appreciate about this is sometimes quarterbacks don't hit someone perfectly moving right in front because they're trying to protect the ball from other people who might be around. That ball was thrown into triple coverage. He threw that ball in a spot where, and he might have missed him by a little bit. He didn't miss him by as much as you think he missed him, I guess is what I'm saying. He still has to try to protect the football. And if 2 other times this season, Travis Kelce hadn't dropped a pass that ended up in a defender's hands, well, then maybe this one wouldn't stand out as much as being Travis or Patrick missed him by a little bit. But it does, I don't know, man, the more and more I hear him, the more they sound defeated, and he sounds like he realizes it's the end. And yeah,
well,
I'm kind of
think
with you.
I just think reality is setting in. For him, reality is not just about this year. Reality is setting in that this is, I believe, that he knows that this is probably it. And for other guys in the locker room when we were there on Sunday night, I think it was just the reality knowing that, yes, mathematically they're not eliminated. And there is always the word hope that you can use to try to rally the troops. And Andy was asked about that yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever it was at this point. But they're all well aware. This team doesn't have it. They have not been able to figure out the fix to some of these issues. We got to clean it up. They haven't figured out how to clean it up here in 2025, and it's not going to happen in the final 4 weeks. And I think reality is setting in that they know that's not going to happen for whatever reason with this group this year. Even if it's a lot of the same from last year, this year's group has not been able to figure that part out. And that's why they're a 6-7 football team.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no other way to explain it than that. And it's just, they're stuck in kind of purgatory this season, and they'll have to find some more answers. I will say, it's a weird year because everyone's having a worse year, but one of the guys who isn't is Travis Kelce. And it hasn't meant anything because the team is lost. So many guys are having a worse year. Like Rice and Worthy and Butker and Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith. I mean, I got a long list of guys having a bad year.
McDuffie?
I would argue than the 15-2 team last year. 2 players, I would argue, are not having a worse year: Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. And if I had told you going into the year that those would be 2 guys not having a worse year than last year,
so you're not wrong,
I would have definitely thought they were better.
You're not wrong.
In the big moments,
but in the biggest moments, Jacksonville, pick 6.
Yep.
Travis Kelce, of course, the week 1 game, right? The ball near the goal line, or it was at the Philadelphia game. There's been 3 instances where he's had crucial mistakes. You're not wrong that overall their body of work, they have been better.
But in the
biggest moments, they're 2 guys they trust the most have had some massive blunders.
Yep.
And this year they did not have the margin of error to overcome those because of how they started. And also include, Rashee Rice, who, because of his own decision-making, was not available for this team the first 6 weeks of the season. All of this has come together and why you end up with a 6-7 team at this point in time. That's it. All right, up next, let's talk about Chris Jones. You mentioned his name and where he's at. We saw this past Sunday he played an unbelievable game of football. It wasn't enough as a team, but he was awesome. Can he push forward into 2026 and provide that kind of promise for the rest of the group? We know the rest of the defensive line hasn't got pressure consistently enough, but can he do what he just did across an entire season? Or is it going to be these spurts like we saw in 2025? So we'll discuss that next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Creed Humphrey. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sports fans in Missouri can sign up for BetMGM using bonus code DUSTY and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet does not win. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day. Get into hockey, basketball, and pro football with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM rewards points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sign up today using bonus code DUSTY to receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM, make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Minimum deposit of $10 to participate. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Pain has a way of stealing the moments that matter most, especially during the holidays. It's not just your knees, back, or shoulder. It's time away from your family and friends. But in 2026, all that could change when your body remembers how to heal. It just needs a little help finding the way back. At QC Kinetics, right here in Kansas City, we believe relief doesn't have to come from surgery or pain pills. We use your body's own natural healing abilities to repair and restore what's been lost, helping you move, live, and feel like yourself again. It's your body's comeback story, powered by the very cells that built you in the first place. No surgery, no pain pills, no long recovery. Just your body remembering how to feel alive again. QC Kinetics delivers long-term relief, finally. So schedule your free consultation today and use your HSA or FSA before the year ends. Call 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, it's QC Kinetics.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold telling you about our friends over at Centric, where your career in tech can start. Just take it from Becky, who's in charge of student success.
Hi, I'm Becky Sears, Student Success Advisor at Centric. My role is really about supporting students, whether that's with their coursework, time management, or just learning to be a student again. I'm here to help students succeed every step of the way.
Over 1,800 companies have hired Centric grads, a 95% student retention rate in 2024, and an 18-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio. Find out more. Go to Centric.com and talk to our buddy Russ.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Nugget Bills, nuggets all the way.
Hi, I'm Kylie.
I'm John.
And I'm Garrison.
And a little thing we love about the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets
is sharing them when we cut down the Christmas tree.
We will pack the car with gifts. And of course, we go and pick up our family's favorite nuggets.
Every nugget is tasty times quadrillion.
And we get all the sides.
Yeah, the ooey gooey mac and cheese is a big hit.
Share the nuggets, share the joy. Order the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppable beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that for Bree's car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Bree's car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy for Breeze. La 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 la.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-5795. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, and Oysters. Located in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour coming up in 45 minutes. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and maybe another player expected to speak to the media. We'll have that live here on your home for the Chiefs, 96.5 The Fan. We'll get a little injury update. Remember, heading into the Chargers game, is Trey Smith coming back? What about Jawan Taylor? Who else? I'll be curious just to see. Obviously, we already know Wanya Morris is done for the year, but still, just where they think their offensive line is headed with.
Trent McDuffie's supposed to be back.
McDuffie hyperextended his knee, yeah.
So we don't know about him either.
So that's another update. Yeah.
Should we have carried the Phillip Rivers press conference live instead?
I listened to a clip during the break.
Did you?
He walked in and he said, "Wait, we don't do these on Zoom anymore because the last time he was in the league was COVID and they were just doing the Zoom press conference." But no, he got a little emotional too because he was asked, of course, the obvious question like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?" And he got emotional and he was saying, he loves the coach. Remember the relationship he has with Shane Steichen. Like they're really very close. And so he got emotional talking about that. Mentioned that he's got 14 teammates that were his teammates back in 2020 as well.
I'm surprised it's that high.
Yeah.
Are you?
I couldn't name you, obviously. I'm not a name.
Alec Pierce,
Taylor Pierce, and Pittman are the only
sure
right.
Alex Pierce, he got drafted the same year as Sky Moore, so man, not even him.
Yeah,
I think Quentin Nelson was there.
So I'm not sure, but he was talking about it, and he basically gave kind of the explanation that we were discussing the other day. It's like, you can the door open. I want to find out what can happen, kind of thing, and
He's
see.
Describing like it's Narnia.
And he said, look, he acknowledged that there's risk. He's like, obviously there's risk here of what can happen. Like, of course, we're talking about the injury front of it. I mean, 44 years old, somebody just blindsides you and you could have a very serious injury. But he's willing to take that risk. I think he's going to play. I don't know if it's this Sunday, but he's going to start for the Colts multiple games. It sure feels like.
I'd be surprised if he can get through an NFL game. He'll start multiple games. If he can physically survive an NFL game. Drew was pointing out the same thing we all know, which is the defense is getting ready to face. It's not a great lineup. A little bit of a murderer's row, if you will, of decent defenses to go against.
Seattle
like
and the 49ers and the Rams.
Jags
are
the worst defense he'll face in their number 11, the Jags are in the league.
And they wrap up against the Texans, don't they?
Yeah, right? Who are the number one, of course.
Yeah. I'm fascinated by the whole thing. Like and I understand like the math will tell you the Chiefs still have a chance and you need the Colts to lose. And so I get it if you're like, hey, I hope it doesn't work. I want to see if he can actually win a game or something for the Colts. I really do. Because I don't think the Chiefs will handle their business anyway.
Yeah,
so.
Morbidly curious, at least, to see how Phillip Rivers plays. On the defensive line for the Chiefs, one guy we know is healthy is Chris Jones. He had an awesome game against the Texans. Didn't matter. Obviously, it was in a loss anyway. People don't typically want to hear, wow, Chris. I mean, again, he was incredible. He disrupted 50% of their plays at least. He borderline single-handedly destroyed their offense for the entire third quarter. There were other players playing well. Chris Jones disrupted anything they even had a thought of doing.
Played great in the second half in particular, right? First play out of half. I mean, shot out of a cannon. And look, I know the Texans O-line stinks, but he dominated. He did what you're supposed to, like a star player should do against an offensive line that is weak. He took over that football game when the Chiefs had, 5 offensive drives against them and only gave up 18 yards. He was the biggest reason why that was the case. It's why we were so frustrated with the 4th down thing. Your defense was playing so good. You were stopping the Texans. Make them drive on you. Don't give them a free field goal. Ends up being a touchdown.
I guess the question is now, because, look, they need defensive line help no matter what. So I'm not saying this eliminates their need to sign a free agent defensive end or defensive tackle, draft highly a defensive end in the top 15 or wherever they're going to pick, whatever. It's not changing those. But that game, that throwback game for a second goal, gave me a little bit of juice in the maybe they could carry 1 or 2 more years. Because the problem is next year he's a Chief. And my initial instinct is just pay the man, just eat the money. As in pay him the amount of money he's owed. Work out the contract on Mahomes and some other guys and figure out the cash that way. But the $44.5 million he's owed next year against the cap, you might want to wear that one, was my stance for a while. Because if you think this Chris Jones can still show up 3, 4, 5 times a year, well, then extend him and ride this thing out for 4 more years and figure out a way to soften the blow on the cap end and supercharge this. But because I think they're going to end up 2 years from now needing an entire rebuild of the defensive line, I feel like you kind of have to just wear his number for a year. But there was some part about that game where I'm like, he's still got juice. We don't need to write Chris Jones off. Okay, he's had an okay year, and that game was like, whoo, turn back the clock kind of stuff.
Yeah, look, he played awesome on Sunday against the Texans offensive line that is not very good. In the second half, Spags said, "Screw this, we're going to blitz," and that's when the Chiefs got the most pressure. Is when they blitzed in conjunction with Chris Jones, of course, winning one-on-one. I think the question is the financial end of it, and it's tricky because of the extension. Next year, he's got a $44.8 million cap hit, and dead cap $64.2 million. After next year, dead cap is 19.5, cap hit 38.
Okay, so that's the number teams will sometimes eat.
I don't think they should try to extend it to push it further down the road and balance the number. I don't know what their path is. I think they kind of have to ride this out or rip the Band-Aid off and just eat the money and be done with it.
Any world in which you've talked about McDuffie, if there were a team interested in Chris Jones, would you do it?
I would, but I don't know.
If they're eating the money, I'll tell you right now, the compensation's not going to excite you.
Well, it would have to be prepared that you're not getting a second-round pick even back.
No, probably
in that
a third.
scenario.
If they're taking the money, probably a third.
If that, Cody, I think there's a chance it's a conditional third or something because of the money aspect of it.
The money part hurts. I still think there'd be someone.
He's 32 next year with a $44.8 million cap hit.
Because Trey Hendrickson's expensive, and I think and not under contract, so you don't even get a couple of years. I think there's a world in which Trey Hendrickson would have been good for a third. This previous draft, or they'd made that move in Cincinnati, and so I think a third might still be out there. I get
Trey Hendrickson, at his current number, Trey Hendrickson's not making anywhere near the kind of money.
Not $44 million.
That's what I mean.
His number was about to go up. Obviously down.
And he
now
just turned 31. He's younger now. Chris Jones historically has been a better football player, but he's a year younger than Chris Jones.
Similar age, but yes, yeah,
or maybe not a full year younger. Maybe it's
a similar age one. So that one's not as huge of a jump. Look, it's not a second, it's not a first, it's nowhere near that range. And my problem is, when you talk about trading Trent McDuffie, that's a player in a position that they've been able to refill. And maybe this is a longer Brett Veach conversation. They have not done a good job developing defensive ends. That is, honestly...
Karlaftis is the one example.
Single-handedly, the single biggest flaw of Brett Veach's entire run as the Chiefs GM is defensive end. Because, look, I don't have to go through the draft picks by every single, FAU's a massive bust. Karlaftis is a good NFL defensive end. And, he took him pretty high in the first. He should be a good, but Omar Norman Gelati, no answer on. Yeah. We don't know. They only took they took 0 defensive linemen in last year's draft. That feels like an oversight. I'm dead serious. And the year before,
not yet.
In 2024, they took 0 defensive linemen. That feels like a bit of an oversight. Year before, they took only Felix Anudike-Uzomah and B.J. Thompson, bust. And B.J. Thompson, he's a 5th-round pick. I don't really blame him. Took 1 defensive lineman the year before in 2022 is Karlaftis, good player, and only took 1 the year before that in Joshua Kando. So some of this is a resource allocation. You've just been banking on Chris Jones covering your ass this entire time. You took 2 first-round picks. One stinks. One's okay.
So I don't disagree. I don't
world.
disagree. But if we go back to the conversations around those drafts, I think everybody agreed they needed to draft a wide receiver the year they drafted Xavier Worthy. Everybody wanted them to draft a wide receiver in the first round. They were pivoting towards resources more on the offensive side at that time. This is why the left tackle problem for multiple years was a problem, because they had to continue to invest resources in tackle. Now, it looks like, assuming Josh Simmons can be available, it looks like they finally nailed that position. But for multiple years, they were spending resources on the tackle spot. Kingsley, now they've salvaged it to a certain extent. He's going to be a guard for multiple years, it looks like, for this football team, because he's had a nice year. But they had to go back-to-back years spending a fairly high pick on a tackle because it hasn't hit. And so that was a resource that, if you knew you fixed tackle 2 years ago, then maybe they would have used it in a different way. So you're right that they haven't invested as much on the defensive line through the draft, but I would just remind everybody, go back to those given years, and we all agreed, like even this year's draft, that they had to draft a left tackle. Nobody was clamoring that they had to draft a defensive lineman in the first round back in April. We all agreed they had to go get a tackle.
They're not in a dramatically different spot this year, though. It's like their needs list is kind of long.
Sure.
You can make an argument that they still need to draft a right tackle this year.
Number one on the list, though, is defensive line. I don't know how anybody can make a case that that's not number one. There's other needs.
I can't make an argument for it. But you know how this works. It's like you're picking at pick 14, and all the defensive ends who deserve to go in that range aren't in that range, and some of the other positions of need that you need, including, not hopefully, running back, which would be insane and drive me.
This is where you stockpile picks if you can. I know it's easier said than done, but depending on how the board goes, and we'll see. We got so much time here, guys. The combine still has to take place, all this kind of stuff. But if you are picking 14th,
Senior Bowl yet.
Yeah, are you at a point where do you trade back to get more picks? If you trade McDuffie, do you have an additional first-round pick? What does that do? Is there a chance you end up, if you play it out in a strong way, could you have 3 or 4 picks in the top 90, Cody, next year? I mean, there's a chance you could if you play this right. With if you're willing to move on from somebody and also trade back and all that. There's a ton of options that they have. But there's no question, it's a vastly important offseason. It's the second most important offseason of Brett Veach's tenure.
Well, for the people asking about trading Chris Jones, and I'll let you say some, Drews, I don't think they can afford to lose a defensive lineman like that still playing at this level. Like, just straight up, I fear what their defensive
I will say, though,
would look like.
I'm with you, but this level that we saw on Sunday, that's happened 2 or 3 times this entire season. That's it.
But that's the 3 times is more than every other player on the entire defensive line combined.
I know,
and the
money's the money at this point. But I'm just saying,
I get it.
That's
I do think it is interesting just when you look at the draft. It seems like the best group is just D-line as a whole. There's a lot of if you just look at the top prospects, if you will, D end and D tackle there's a lot of really good ones. So I wonder if not that they would do this, but how desperate do you think the need is? Like, do they think Omar Norman Lott, fully healthy, is going to continue to develop? Ashton Gelati, we haven't seen that, but given the way that they play rookies, are we not going to see the big chance for Gelati until next season anyways? Or do you double dip on defensive line first and second round because the need is that desperate? I think you can make an argument for that too.
The playing rookies part, and this is one thing that's a big difference, is historically, you're right, they don't play rookies a ton. That is different for highly drafted rookies. The time
like
they
first rounders, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, when they traded up
like
for
FAU
Trent McDuffie, when they drafted George Karlaftis, and FAU is a little bit different of a case because they knew he was a project, they put those guys on the field immediately. I'll tell you right now, if they take a defensive lineman 13th overall in the 2026 NFL draft, his ass is starting.
Of course.
Like, he's on the outside in a Minnie Hughes spot tomorrow if they take a pick like that. So getting on the field, I guess I'm not overly worried about.
Yeah, and look, you're right about this past year's draft class. It's still an incomplete, and we'll see.
Totally complete.
Omar Norman Lott, Ashton July, they could turn. We could be. I would love.
And third round
we could be
picks.
sitting here next December. Like I'm not guaranteeing it by any means, but we could be sitting here next December saying, "Wow, those 2 are pretty impactful guys in year 2," and it could change your entire view of the trajectory of how long, if there is a reset or anything like that, has to exist. But we know you're not going to hit on every pick. Nobody expects that. No GM in football hits on every pick. But this is an offseason in which the percentage has to be fairly high. It feels like, other than the Tampa Bay Bucs Super Bowl, this feels like the second most important offseason in Brett Veach's tenure.
Ironically, it's on the defensive side of the ball.
Team.
Ironically, it's on the other side of the ball now instead of the offensive side.
We can get into that more tomorrow. I'm very interested in this Brett Veach tenure and what he has to do with it. It feels very can't miss. But on the college football end, our favorite, Paul Feinbaum. I believe on his business card it says
the Mouth of the South.
Mouth of the South only cares about the SEC.
Yes.
everyone else be damned / I got scared and didn't run for Senate or whatever. Right?
I don't. Did he already say he's not running? I don't know.
The report is that he is backing out of that. Yes.
Anyway,
I don't know if that's confirmed.
He was on Get Up with Greeny the other day, and he said it's time to get rid of the Group of 5 schools. He said eliminate them. Add 4 more for the college football playoff, use conference championships at a wild card playing game. You and I have brought this up as well. I agree on the wild card-ish play-in game part of it. I do think conference title games have been kind of now pointless in the system we're in now, and I'm all about having play-in games to get in. He's not wrong there. I'm totally with him. The Group of 5 thing is fascinating to me because what he is saying about where we're at with the Tulanes and James Madisons of the world getting in, and the fact that this year there are 2 of them, and we look and we see that Tulane's like a 19-point dog, James Madison's like a 21-point dog, or I maybe have it flipped, but either way, massive underdogs. Look, I hope they're entertaining games, but I think we all kind of know most likely they're going to be ugly. Okay, so the challenge here is then if you go with what he is saying, then we have to admit what we've kind of speculated could happen one day that is going to be today, like that's happening now, which is we have to separate. And you have to be willing to separate and move the Group of 5 to their own championship.
Away from the NCAA.
That's the only way you do this, because you can't have them playing in the exact same pool all year and then say, well, we can't let them in the party. We would have to create a separate Group of 5 playoff then.
This is the most elitist nonsense, and it is only truly an American sports thing to do this, and specifically college. Why is it that we can't? It's so elitist to just say, oh, I'm sorry that you had an awesome season and you tried really hard and you won a bunch of games. You don't get to be included. That would just be like saying the Miami Marlins should be retracted from all of Major League Baseball. And while we're at it, let's get rid of like a whole third of it. Let's get rid of a third of Major League Baseball. Let's get our ass down to 20 teams and just be the Yankees and the Mets and the Dodgers dueling it out against each other. And we'll just get rid of the Royals and we'll get rid of the Marlins and we'll get rid of everybody. And just because your resources aren't the same or you play at a smaller school, sorry, you don't get a chance. Yes, Gold. Odds are 100% they have no chance to win the national championship this year. But there's not a 0% chance James Madison could win a game or get lucky. And in college basketball, we seem to have celebrated it by letting the small
gap
schools
is,
get...
as you know, football resources gap is way different than
basketball. That doesn't mean they
basketball.
have to just be excluded. Like, inclusion matters in some capacity here. I'm not saying if you want to say
we're talking about college sports. We're not talking about we're talking about college sports. Like, I mean, it's inclusion in generally sense. Yes, inclusion is a great thing to operate in the world. We're talking about college sports. So I don't think there's not like some dead set requirement. We have to include
James
Madison.
Kansas out. They got no chance. They're eliminated.
They're in
from
the Power
this
Four, Cody. They're not in the Group of 5 as much as you wish they were. They're not. They're in the group. They're not in the Group of 5.
This is where it goes. Once they get rid of Group of 5, they'll get rid of all the bad college football teams and tell
we've talked
Rutgers
about
and Kansas and everyone else to kick rocks.
We've talked about this, that long term, I think we are headed to 2 super conferences, and if you're not in it, you're not in it. That's absolutely true. Right now, we're talking about whether or not the Group of 5 is part of the conversation or not.
I do think so, Cody. To your point, the way that we see it with college basketball. So there's 363 teams or whatever in college hoops. There's 68 in March Madness. There's 136 FBS schools. There's only 12 teams in the playoff. The hard part about this, in my opinion, I think, is are you trying to pick the 12 best teams, or are you picking the 12 most deserving teams? And when you're dealing with people who have bias and all these other things, like if you were to pick the 12 best teams, they got
the college football playoff wrong already.
You're likely never going to get a Group of 5 team in the top 12 ever again.
Also, Notre Dame's one of the 12 best teams. They didn't deserve to be in, but they're one of the 12 best teams.
I agree, which is why the whole format is odd. If you want to include JMU and Tulane in it, the format, the way that it currently is, they probably shouldn't be in, which is why I think the format should change, because of the reasonings that everybody brings up, and the fact that, look, they legitimately don't have they don't have a shot to win the national title. It's not going to happen, and that doesn't mean that they can't win a game, as you mentioned. But even if they do win a game, it's like a lost cause, because you know that they can't win the entire thing. If there were more teams involved, then I think maybe there's an argument for, like, if you had the 24-team playoff, then I think there's a way that you can include them in there and still feel like you can get some good games, and then it has a more of a March Madness feel to it. But you have to revamp, I think, the entirety of the way we view college football to realistically include teams like James Madison or Tulane or Boise State or these other ones.
I'm not saying this year there's no chance. Those teams just aren't on par. But like, Gold, I'll use a school that you like. Boise State's in a group of 5. Boise State, the year they beat Oklahoma, they couldn't have won the national championship. They couldn't have won 3 games against top opponents.
We all do this first.
I'm not using. I understand this is the one.
Like people will cite like, oh, UMBC beat Virginia. Yeah, congrats. The 1 in the 1,000 times it happened. Yes, it mathematically
they were never
it's not
winning the national title, and the pool is bigger.
But Boise State could have that year. I'm not saying they would have. They beat one of the best teams in the country in an absolute thriller. But like I feel like even if it's a small chance, we shouldn't give them 0% chance just because in 1 year we're dissatisfied. If you wanted to keep it to 1 even for college football because it's that, and you're like, hey, Tulane and James Madison, you can't get in together. We put one Cinderella story in the football. Fine. That's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
But that's where he's like,
to say it's a 0% chance ever under any circumstance is not true.
But that's where you would have the group of 5. They would get an auto spot in the play-in game, not one of these buys, essentially, right? Like you would have them in a play
because of whatever happened
Cody,
last year.
I
got rid of that real fast.
I agree with you, but the way that the format is currently right now, their only saving grace is that there's an automatic bid for the group of 5 right now. They would never, if it was the 12 best teams, they would never be in that. Where if you expanded it, that's why I think the format, I agree with you that I think including a group of 5 team is important to the way that college football currently is.
They're a part of college
right
athletics.
Now.
They should have a chance.
They're absolutely a part of it, and they should be in. But I don't think they can do it.
Everything else has changed with college athletics.
With a 12-team format, I don't know if it makes... It doesn't. I agree with Paul Feynman that it doesn't make sense for them to be in the 12-teamer. If we expanded it, and I know that people don't want to expand and all these other things, but if you expanded it to 25, if you look at almost every year, in every single season, I think there is one group of 5 team, typically that is in the top 25 at the end of the year. That I think if you expanded it to include all of the top 25 or at least most
of it. Big Ten wants to go to 24. They'll do 24, not 25. They'll do 20.
But I think that the group of 5 in that sense with 24 teams, absolutely put a group of 5 team in there because we see, again, to use an example this year, Cody, I think part of your argument would be Duke won the ACC title this year. Tulane beat Duke this year. So why shouldn't Tulane be? If Duke is in, then Tulane should also be in. That's why I think with an expanded playoff, it makes sense for your argument of the group of 5 or group of 6 team, one of them at least, should be included. And hey, instead of conference weekend, you take 2 group of 5 teams. This year would be JMU and Tulane. You guys play against each other, and whoever wins, you get that spot in that 2014 playoff, so you can include it.
That would be
It's
fun.
important, but with a 12 team, the way that it is now, I think it's hard. It's hard to argue other than the fact that we see blowouts every single year. And
even with the power,
Tennessee last
Ohio
year,
State
Tennessee
or whatever,
last year got ran by Ohio State by 25 points, and it was a 9-8 game.
Sure. I always view it the same, and this is always the issue. It's like if we said this about college basketball, and I understand there's a talent discrepancy, but instead of the American Conference winner, we put in the 15th team in the SEC, which you hate. Yeah. That's the better team. Right. The 15th team in the SEC is the better team. I just feel like
I don't think we can make the comp with that. I just don't think no, they're not actually. In the American, the top school in the American absolutely is better than the 15th team in the SEC
or
in college basketball
8th or the 9th. Yeah. Like how many small schools would actually get in the tournament if we just did the 64 best teams, most talented teams? It'd be like 4, 8. The numbers would be so small. It's just like, I don't know.
It's like a percentage thing. Like I don't know what the percentage is of teams in the NCAA tournament that are from college basketball, but if you took that same percentage from the 136 and let's say it is 24, then absolutely a group of 5 teams should be in there in that stance. But you would have to adopt a whole new way of scheduling games. How long is the schedule? How many games do you play? Is there conference title games? Because right now in FCS, there are no conference title games. You just go straight to the playoff. I think that it would have to rework exactly how we see the sport. But hey, we're heading in that direction now. So who's to say we can't? I do see somebody on the text line saying this, and Josh Pate has brought this up.
Yeah, we're waiting for a break, but
relegation style of things where Rutgers stinks and so does Purdue. Hey, you know what? You're out, and JMU and Tulane, they get bumped up to the top level.
Never doing it.
Probably never going to happen.
All right, coming up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour. We're going to hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Also, what Nate Taylor told us yesterday about Rashee Rice and the effort level. What does that say about a future contract?
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
There are two kinds of guys out there: the hard-working, earn the victory guys, and the fake it till you make it guys. You know, the ones who build display cases for their participation trophies. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, and when those pretenders are out shopping for jewelry, they're probably shopping for lab diamonds, and that's sad because they've been sold a bill of goods, and no matter what anyone says, just like any pretender, you really can tell the difference between a lab diamond and a real natural diamond. So when she takes that lab diamond in for an appraisal and learns that you just gave her a participation trophy, well, that just might be the end of her participation. Seriously. We appraise jewelry from other stores all the time, and I've seen a lot of anger and a lot of tears. Guys, this Christmas season, I'm here for you. Earn the victory. If the love is real, she deserves a diamond that's real from a guy that's real. Come see me at House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
You know, there's millions of people without the health insurance they need. I get it. You feel like it's too pricey, a headache to deal with. You deserve something better. And better health. We're on a mission to get everyone high-quality, affordable health insurance. You have health insurance needs. We have plans with low out-of-pocket premiums, with in-network preventive care at no cost to you, and a network of local doctors and hospitals. So if you're still shopping for health insurance, go to ambetterhealth.com/enroll to get your free, no-obligation quote. That's ambetterhealth.com/enroll. For coverage to start January 1st, you must enroll by December 15th. Find the plan that's right for you right now. ambetterhealth.com/enroll. Ambetter Health, on a mission for better. Ambetter Health is the brand name for health insurance products underwritten by subsidiaries of Centene Corporation. Go to ambetterhealth.com to see offerings in your state. This is a solicitation for insurance.
Hey, Missouri, if you haven't heard by now, good news! FanDuel Sportsbook is live in the Show Me State, and they're kicking things off with an offer that's tough to beat. Right now, new customers in Missouri can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So whether it's football, basketball, hockey, or more, you can bet it all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So download FanDuel today and head to FanDuel.com/Missouri and join the excitement. Remember, new Missouri customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. Because Missouri, it's time to play your game with FanDuel. FanDuel is the official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
The Chiefs have been scoring a ton of points lately, and that means I'm saving a ton of money at Hy-Vee. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs because I score big fuel savings when I shop Hy-Vee the day after any Chiefs game. Win or lose, I'll earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents a gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. So the more we score, the more I save, only for my friends at Hy-Vee.
It's Thirsty Thursday at Hy-Vee. Time to stock up the bar and fill up your tank. Earn 50 cents per gallon fuel savings on every $50 purchase of wine, beer, hard seltzer, and spirits. Mix and match all your favorite libations and get a 50-cent fuel saver with every $50 purchase. Stack up the savings and your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday at your Kansas City, Missouri Hy-Vee. Product promotion differs by location. Offers valid where legal, available while supplies last.
Are you like everybody else in the world who has no idea what to get everyone for the holidays? Well, you're in luck. We got you. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Because with hands-free Skechers slip-ins, you just step into them and they're on. There's no bending down, no touching, no fuss. Plus, Skechers slip-ins come in everyone's favorite styles and colors. And you can get slip-ins everywhere stylish footwear is sold, including a Skechers store. Or if you're too busy to shop in person, just get them online at Skechers.com, Amazon, and more.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Christmas holiday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Christmas holiday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net.
In about 10 minutes or so, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes is going to speak to the media. Might also hear from Xavier Worthy, depending on timing as well. Because we were up against the clock a little bit before Andy speaks, we'll talk about Rashee Rice. I know I teased that. I apologize. We'll get to that in the noon hour. Want to talk about what Nate...
dare you?
I know. What Nate Taylor had to say yesterday when he joined us in the 1 o'clock hour about Rice's effort and his struggles against man-to-man and the deeper conversation about a future contract for him. Also, the off-the-field stuff has to factor in to that as well. But it's probably saved for when we have a little bit more time.
What would it take for you to think the Chiefs are getting back in the playoffs? How many games would they have to win in a row? Would you get there after 2? They got back to 8-7, and some of the other losses happened. Would you be bought back in?
So it's over. But to answer your question, they would have to win 3 in a row. We'd have to be sitting here on a Friday going into Week 18 when they're about to go to Vegas, and every other scenario has already happened the way it needs to.
So, like, the Chargers had lost enough games, the Colts had lost enough games.
They would have to be going into last week, and the Chiefs would have to be a win away, and a Chargers lost the Broncos away from getting in. But I don't want to put. Dusty was giving Drew a hard time about this before the show. I don't want to go down that path from the last couple of years. We've been giving Drew a hard time for a couple of years when it's in December.
Drew last week was still ready
and his team's out of it, and Drew's like, well, if they do this and list 20 other things, I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that.
I will say, in this town, not in the time I've covered it.
I'm
sure
over.
you remember.
It's over, guys.
Do you remember as a kid? God, we're a slightly different age, so maybe there's not. Do you remember when the Chiefs had to have like 8 things go right?
In the 49ers and Broncos game, there's a field goal that was made, and the Chiefs got in.
Legit, Drew. Yeah. The Chiefs had to have like 7 or 8 different things happen on one NFL Sunday, and they all happened, and the Chiefs made the playoffs. That feels like the only circumstance in which they make it at this point, right? Is that we're sitting here in the Week 18, you don't know for sure, and it's like, well, just as long as the Colts lose and this game ends in a tie and the Chiefs win by 9 exactly.
Don't do this to yourself.
No, I'm saying that feels like the only way in which they would get in there is we're sitting here on a Week 18 and some insane 17-stage thing would have to take place in order to like make it all line up perfectly. I think it would take at least 3 wins in a row. 2 wins in a row, maybe, if everybody lost each of the next 2 games, which I don't foresee happening. So that's definitely not going to happen. That Chargers one was like, if for some reason you were still hanging on, that was the nail, wasn't it? Like
the
if
Eagles
you
win or the
even
win
if
loss.
you were, even if you were like holding on to some optimism, if the Eagles win that game, you could have come in here on Monday and been like, I don't know. Come on, hear me out
People
for
are
a
asking,
minute,
can we say what the scenario is? Sure, that's fair. So here's what it is. If you're still believing, the Chiefs, of course, have to win their Final Four.
Okay.
That's the toughest thing here. Then the Chargers would have to lose to Dallas or Houston, plus that final week lose to Denver. So Chargers lose to Dallas or Houston, plus lose to Denver. The Colts would have to lose 2 of their final 4. So whether it's at Seattle,
With Phil Rivers, that
San
seems not out of the
Francisco,
question.
Jacksonville, Houston. The Colts part seems actually pretty realistic. The challenge is the Chiefs winning 4 in a row and the Chargers losing 1 of the Dallas, Houston. And Week 18 are the Broncos playing for something. Are they out of the 1 seed picture? Are they win and get the 1 seed over the Patriots kind of thing? That's why if you're still a believer, you actually should hope the Buffalo Bills beat the New England Patriots because the Patriots, or excuse me,
Other way around. Patriots beat the Bills.
Yes, other way around. Patriots beat the Bills to keep that potential tiebreaker and play with the Broncos, even though the Broncos have the tiebreaker over the Patriots. So the Patriots know they have to be 1 win better if I'm understanding the scenario.
You need both teams playing the final. You want the Patriots and Broncos to both keep winning or win the exact same number of games. You need Week 18 to matter.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who the backup is in Denver, but I can assure you that they're probably not winning a Week 18 game if you need them to against an opponent if it's not Bo Nix starting. And so, again, all of this is the biggest pipe dream of pipe dreams. I have moved on to
So have I.
who are the
for my own
players
mental for my
available.
own mental health. I have moved on instead of thinking week to week. Oh, they started. No,
In fairness, I wasn't out
easier.
until this week. I held on as long as I could.
Yeah. If we get to Week 18 and we're here doing our show that week, right around New Year's, and everything else has already happened, and the Chiefs are a win away and a Chargers loss away, then we can have a real conversation. again.
Since I have a history of doing this, do you want me to be the Chiefs optimist in this?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Sure.
Let's hear
They're
your
gonna make it.
reasoning for how the Chiefs and why the Chiefs are going to do it. You've been doing this in Cincinnati for years, so you're prepped.
Well, Gold lined out every single reason. There's still a shot where, hey, if they continue to win these games, I know the team has looked a little bit down.
That's the most.
I know they looked beat up in the locker room, but you know what? All it takes is for them to find a way to win 1 game, and then if you can get confidence, it continues to get pumped through the locker room. Hey, let's win another one. Then all of a sudden you find a way to beat the Denver Broncos on Christmas. Oh, Christmas is great. Everybody's happy. Hey, we just need 1 more. All these things are happening for us. We need 1 more game against the Ravens.
Someone texted in, if you still believe the Chiefs are making it, you probably still believe in Santa Claus.
Dude, there could be kids listening to this show.
On a Wednesday, go to school.
Man.
Get to school.
Get to school.
11:40 on a Wednesday. Get to class.
That could be like 4.
Get to class.
And in which case, Santa is very real, 4-year-old.
And
Listen.
in fairness, though, this is the thing. The Bengals last year, they almost did it.
Statistically.
They almost did it. So the Chiefs can almost do it if I'm rooting for the Chiefs
Almost
to get there.
this, almost that. Ugh.
Genuinely,
Ugh.
the funniest part about the entire scenario that Gold laid out is, I think everything everybody else needs to do probably happens. The crazy part is, I actually think all the other things they need to happen probably will happen. Based on those team schedules and the way it all lines up, probably will happen. The thing I can't believe is that the Chiefs are going to win 4 games in a row.
Why would you?
I can't count on them.
Against
of all
the Broncos
playoff
and
scenarios,
Chargers.
the thing I can't actually do is that one.
Yes, Tennessee and Vegas, okay, they'll win those, but against the Broncos and Chargers, they're winning both of those.
And all it takes is 1 play that hasn't gone their way to go right.
Oh my gosh.
That's all it takes. That's what if you want to be the optimist.
Several more Phillip Rivers
that's
starting
what you,
for teams,
Yeah, if you want to be the optimist, that's what you have to tell yourself.
Someone said the kids are homeschooling. You guys are part of the sports class they listen to. Well, that's a scary thought, isn't it? That's a really scary thought. Someone says, wait, I lived a 61-year-old lie? Yeah.
There's a sports class?
Yeah.
For homeschooling?
This person believed in Santa for 61 years?
They're joking, Drew.
This is the end of
Shout
the
out to you.
semester, Gold, so I always get the most desperate students this time of year. Mixed bag of desperation once we get to the end of the semester. People start checking their grades online, Drew. You start getting all kinds of emails, all kinds of excuses.
And
they start
do you have
firing them off.
a hard stance on this, or are you lenient?
Middle, probably.
Okay.
I make it very clear from the beginning of the semester, my leniency fades the later you make this excuse. As in, you tell me in September you're going through some stuff. We got some leeway. You tell me just so happens to be on the final day of the final class of the semester that life got in the way. Turns out I'm not as reasonable in that moment.
Up next, as people continue to text in about their kids hearing what we said, we'll hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I'm Mitch Holtish, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
The holidays are here, and that means Smokehouse Barbecue. Why fuss this holiday season when Smokehouse Barbecue can cater all of your holiday events? That's what we do. Holiday parties, cater and burnt ends. Holiday parties, bring those hickory pit beans. Smokehouse Barbecue will take care of everything. You can visit them at one of their 3 locations in Independence, Gladstone, and Zona Rosa, or place all of your orders at smokehousebbq.com. That's smokehousebbq.com. For over 35 years, locally owned and family operated, it's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Men, it's the holidays, the season of all kinds of hustle and bustle. But if your energy is down, if you aren't sleeping well, if your sex drive is MIA, and you just don't feel like the guy you once were, maybe it's tough to get excited for all the holiday cheer. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if this sounds like you may have low testosterone. And if so, this is the season for you to get treated. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. If you're like most guys, you'll feel the change in just a few weeks. And truly, the results can be life-changing. You'll have improved mental clarity, your energy will kick up, your workouts will be better, your sleep patterns will improve, and your sex drive will likely heat up as well. So call us, and don't go through another season with low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Hey, Missouri, if you haven't heard by now, good news. FanDuel Sportsbook is live in the Show Me State, and they're kicking things off with an offer that's tough to beat. Right now, new customers in Missouri can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So whether it's football, basketball, hockey, or more, you can bet it all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So download FanDuel today and head to FanDuel.com/Missouri and join the excitement. Remember, new Missouri customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. Because Missouri, it's time to play your game of FanDuel. FanDuel is the official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
With the first pick in the McDonald's breakfast draft, I'm going with a tasty sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle sandwich. Bold move, sweet, savory, totally stacked. But wait, that delicious sausage McMuffin with egg sandwich is still on the board. Lucky for me, McD lets you mix and match 2 for just $5. And right now, any size iced coffee is only $1.89. Breakfast at McDonald's. That's the real winning deal. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is going to be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at Hellsberg.com for up to 50% off.
This is Dana Hughes. In Kansas City football, we honor tradition, but we always look forward to what's next. That's why I'm all in for Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, crisp, clean, and full of flavor, just the way a light beer should be. It's got the legacy and the stats to back it up. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Dana Hughes. BG Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Hey, it's Brian Balding here. At the Home Depot, Makita tools are built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts, who know the job's only done when it's done right. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year, performance that pays off. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best, available at the Home Depot. How pros get more done.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Christmas holiday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Christmas holiday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, and Oysters, located in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin.
Hey, don't forget, by the way, Gold, because it's finals week for my kids at UMKC. Means it's final week for this
Wait,
show
you're
as
telling
well.
Drew and I we have a final in Professor Tapp's class tomorrow.
Now, do you want it cumulative? Do you guys want to go over
sure.
all of the
Yeah.
semester's work?
Sure.
What's my grade currently, Professor? Because this
You've
might
taken
influence
notes a
the
couple
effort of
times.
this.
You got a solid high B.
I don't remember
Actually,
any of
like a
these
C, D.
any of these K-pop
He's half-assed this whole semester.
whatever demon culture thing, whatever.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Demon Hunter thing, yeah.
Gold doesn't remember any of this. Do you remember the snow one? That was from last week.
Oh yeah, well that one was a common sense lecture about
We
brush
learned
the-
about hernias.
I was not here
did.
for that lesson.
Well,
wow, missed
class. I'll share my notes if you share yours.
In fairness, I was recovering from a car accident, so that was. I think that
Is that
was
an excused absence?
They didn't send me a message about it.
Wow.
For class.
Anyway, that's tomorrow.
All right, gotta reach out ahead of time. Fair enough.
We also will have a Snitch Line Thursday. We do it every couple weeks, every month or so. So we'll have a Snitch Line Thursday tomorrow on the show. We are awaiting Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Xavier Worthy. As soon as they step up to the mic, we will head out there. Just some other NFL news to pass along. Dan Quinn announced that Jaden Daniels has been ruled out. Remember, he hurt that elbow again.
They are having a cursed.
I mean, it really is.
Cursed.
It really is. They were
You think the
awesome
Chiefs'
last
season's bad.
year. And, man, now Zach Ertz, he might be done for his career might be over the tight end there. Jaden Daniels. Now, as much as it was the right decision to bring him back, now that he got hurt again, they probably should just shut Jaden Daniels down. There's a difference now that there's only, by the time he comes back, going to be 3 games. They probably should just rest him the rest
I
of the
did
way.
correctly predict the downslide, but also not because of injury. I thought they'd be worse. You and I talked about this. They seemed like a prime candidate for regression. But I didn't think Jaden Daniels was going to miss the whole season pretty much. He's been hurt so much of it. And this goes back to the same thing. I always worry about rookie quarterbacks who play his style. This run around, it's just a risky style. It just feels like it can catch you faster sometimes. That's all. It always just feels like Drake May will stay healthy longer.
Yeah,
Just stands back,
that's fair. I mean, this is not that Jackson Dart ever played at the level Jaden Daniels did last year, but this is my worry if I'm the Giants is when he's looked his best, it's Jackson Dart running, and he's also got himself hurt multiple times. That's really, really concerning. And again, Jackson Dart has never looked the way Jane Daniels did look last year.
They got
but
to shut
still.
Jane Daniels down for the season.
I think
Take that top 10 pick and
now.
just start trying to figure out parts of your roster, you know?
Yeah.
They were in the NFC Championship game last year. They're going to be a top 6.
Dan Quinn had a pass this year because of what he did last year. Next year, he will enter the season with pressure. If they don't make the playoffs next year, he'll get fired. That's how this whole thing works. But they should not move on from Dan Quinn. The guy got into an NFC title game last year in year 1 and had some terrible injury luck this year. And you move on. And next year, the expectations will be different. And I don't know if Cliff Kingsbury will be back as the OC or Cliff might get a head coaching gig there for somebody else in the NFL and leave the Commanders. That's when it gets trickier for Dan Quinn if he has to find a new OC.
Currently, they would be the 6th overall pick because of tiebreakers, but they have the same record as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other teams or 4
Jane
other
Daniels
teams. So.
with Carnell Tate in a final year of Terry McLaurin or so.
Yeah, that's a good little crew.
That wouldn't be bad. Again,
work.
this goes back to the Jamar Chase thing when I thought Cincinnati was in the top 10. It's like, if you can get an elite weapon to go with an elite quarterback because it's the one time you're picking in the top 10, go for it. Because very rarely, if you have an elite level quarterback, are you picking in the top 10 and can actually pair them with somebody good. Chiefs currently have the 14th overall pick, by the way, and have the same record as 2 other teams. And
my guess is they're going to end up picking like 17th when it's all said and done.
Yeah, that feels right.
I wonder if the
worst you pick is 18th if you miss the playoffs. So
okay,
where are the Ravens at now? Because I think the Ravens, to your point, Cody, are kind of in a similar boat. Not
13th versus 14th.
You know, they aren't far enough down yet. But I mean, if you're Baltimore, let's get somebody to help Lamar out because that's been one of the things for Lamar is like he hasn't had that guy, you know, if you will. I mean, Zay Flowers is really good, obviously, but I mean, potentially getting somebody else like that too to help him.
The current teams who'd pick that are not in the playoffs below Kansas City are Dallas, Carolina, Detroit, and Indianapolis.
All right,
actually, the Jets pick.
Andy Reid is speaking to the media. Let's go out there right now on 96.5 The Fan.
And Juwan. Wanye is going to take a little time here, but Juwan's making progress, and we'll just see how he does this week as he works through this thing. Trey, the rest of the guys are practicing today. Look forward to the challenge of playing, excuse me, playing the Chargers. Good football team, a great environment for a football game, and our guys are going to have a good week of practice this week and get themselves ready to roll. So with that, time's yours.
Yeah, Andy, just one. Trey, you feel good about where he's at right now?
Yeah, well, we'll see how he does today. He'll be in there today, though. Yeah, just he's feeling better though.
Do you believe that Trey McDuffie kind of dodged the bullet with that hyperextended knee, or is there a possibility that you'll see what he's at?
Yeah, we'll just see how today. Let's see how today goes. He, he's been sore, so we'll see how it works through the week. But he'll go today and see what he can do.
Coach, what have you seen so far from the guys? Like attitude-wise, attacking this week. I know this is an unfamiliar position for most you guys on the staff for a long time. What have you seen from them so far?
Yeah, they want to get to work. You know, that's kind of how they're wired, and so I think they're eager to get back on the field and get going. You know, everybody knows. I mean, they know where we stand right now. They know what's taking place. So. Very aware, but they also like to work. So I'll get back to it.
Andy, when you look at the receivers room, I know that had to be a very frustrating day for them, and along with Travis too in the tight end room. But just what's their room been like throughout the course of this, and just trying to make sure they correct their
sure. Yeah, sure. These guys, they've got good hands, and they're proud guys that normally catch the football. So things happen in this business where you got to drop a ball once in a while. So you got to go back and you got to catch a few more balls at practice and focus in on it, and we go from there.
Andy, on that topic, when you're calling plays, when you're designing plays, and the plays are obviously that were dropped, how do you adjust versus react to those moments knowing those were there?
I got trust in the guys. I mean, it's not a common thing for the guys that have had some mishaps there. So they'll work through it. That's what you do. I mean, they're good players, and we're always looking at it from a coach's standpoint. Can we put them in better positions? We're never going to stop doing that either. Try to work to their strengths.
Given he missed so much time last year and had the 6-game suspension to start this season, and just how interested, fascinated are you to see how Reid does respond to some of the mistakes he's had over the last couple years?
Yeah, he's a tough dude, young guy with a lot on his plate, and he's powering through it to the best of his ability right now. And that's how he's going about his business. He comes to work and works, and it's unfortunate that he had a couple of these drops, but it's not for lack of effort or focus that way. But to say he doesn't have a lot of things going, there are a lot of things going there.
Is part of it just due to the natural progression of trying to be a number one receiver, and defense is sort of identifying you more so than, say, in 2023 when he was a young player, obviously in his rookie season?
I don't think that. I think he understands that, and he's had some good games too. So it's not, we get locked in on the last couple here with the drops, and that's not normal for him.
No, I know that Juwan's availability could shake it up, but just confidence in Pole if it has to be him again off the one start at left tackle.
Yeah, it'd be good to see him again if he has if he's got to be in there. He showed some nice things. It's always a challenge the second time when they have tape on you. So you gotta, if you're getting in there, you better keep practicing and detailing your work. Yeah, it's important.
Coach, on that front, do you remember kind of obviously you guys liked that, so you brought him back when you had the chance to get him back. But remember what the conversations were and what kind of thinking was when you did end up losing him, and why he didn't make that initial 53?
We took him originally just because we thought he'd be a good player. You got to juggle the numbers, which is always a challenge, and so he got poached there, taken, and when he got unpoached, we poached him. It was pretty simple. We got him back here as quickly as we could.
You may have had a chance to watch the Chargers live on Monday night. What have you seen from them this year and recently?
Yeah, good football team, all the way around, offensively, defensively. They've been banged up a little bit up front, but they've worked through it. Tough quarterback, playing aggressive football, and they're well coached. Defensively, they're one of the top defense. I know I say this every week, but we've been playing some good defenses. They're one of the top defenses in a few of those categories there, man, that are important, and so it's a nice challenge.
Coach, there's different formulas out about how you guys can get into the playoffs. Do you look at any of that stuff?
No. Just I know you need to win games, what you have to do. So focus straight ahead, on that. I've been here before, and you bear down and you go. Try to keep all that stuff. Brett Beach, he can deal with all that. He likes all that.
Coach, what have you seen this week from Patrick, like leadership-wise? This is unfamiliar for him as well to be in this spot.
He's great. I mean, he's coming to work, and he keeps his head up at all times and understands he's in a leadership position. He's a good leader. So nothing you can do but try to get better. That's if you're hanging your head, you're not getting any better. And surely not making anybody, or including the whole team, you're not making them better. So.
Jesse? And just big picture, can you evaluate where you guys are offensively right now? Just where you feel like you guys are.
We've been up and down, so we need more consistency. And that's what we're striving to get here. We've had some great days, great plays, but you have to do it for 4 quarters in this business, and so we've got to be more consistent.
Nate?
You guys signed Damian Pierce a couple weeks ago. Just what would you like to see this week of practice and the potential that maybe he could be available for Sunday's game?
Yeah, so I think he's still getting acclimated to everything here. I like the kid. I can tell he's sharp and into it. We don't have any injuries going on, so the guys that know the stuff are playing right now. But I sure like the way he goes about his business. You see why he was a good player before.
Yeah, last year, you guys did this twice with Tyquan Thornton, Robert Tonyan. Both those guys obviously had the full offseason, made the team. Is there a similar path for Dameon Pierce if the timing just isn't right for this particular stretch of the season?
Yeah, no, he seems like he's all in on things, and I've heard nothing but good things about him. So, he's been welcomed here that way.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, good.
All right, you're listening to Andy Reid here on KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1, HD2, Kansas City, and Odyssey Station here on 96.5 The Fan. We're expected to hear from Patrick Mahomes in just a minute or so. This is Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. A couple things, he was asked from Nate Taylor, the Rashee Rice conversation that we're going to have again coming up in about, 25, 30 minutes, which is about the drops. And maybe he was specifically just talking about Rice, but this idea that, like, drops are uncommon. No, they're not. Maybe for Rice in his career, but as a team, you're second in the league in drops, and you were a couple of years ago leading the league in drops. I think 2022
They make
or
a lot of simple mistakes. They've just never – we notice them more this year because it's actually costing them wins.
Right.
Before, it wasn't costing them wins all the time. It wasn't costing them big games. Now it is. They have always had discipline issues. They've always been penalized. They've always dropped the football. They've never been aggressive. Like, Andy can tell you things that aren't true. The sky is not green. Several things have been true about the Chiefs the entire run. It just hasn't. That's what makes this year frustrating. You notice it, Gold. You notice it because of where they are in the standings. Because they're 6-7 and they're going to miss the playoffs.
On the injury front, Wanya Morris, as we all know, we all saw there's no way he was playing, but Wanya Morris and Jawan Taylor not practicing. Jawan Taylor was the one where you were hoping maybe you would get an update that the tricep injury was improving and a good enough way to practice. He will not. Trey Smith, though, ankle injury, is going to practice, and so we'll see if he's a full participant or not. So as of a Wednesday, it's trending towards maybe you get Trey Smith back. Doesn't look great still that you're going to get Jawan. And Wanya, we all saw what happened. That was an ugly, ugly knee injury for him. He was in crutches after the game. Felt bad for him.
So a decent shot. Esapole would make the start, you would think. Yeah. And I guess it left tackle? That's how they did it with Wanya Morris.
That's just how they played. They just saw him, so they would probably keep Jalen Moore at right tackle in that scenario. Yeah. Why would you switch?
You would only switch Jalen Moore once Jawan Taylor is ready and available to come back. But if that's not the case and he's not ready anyway, then we're probably continuing waiting on that. Look, they could use anybody back if they want to try to make this miracle run that you and I don't think is plausible in any real conceivable way. Getting Trent McDuffie and Trey Smith back would certainly help their odds of winning against the Chargers this Sunday, but I'm still not optimistic about that.
The Dameon Pierce part, I thought it was a good follow-up question at the end. It does feel like if he's not going to be active again this week, based on what Andy said. So it feels like, if anything, it's more of a he knows our system. He's not officially on a futures contract, but maybe that's what this turns out to be. Where basically in the offseason, if they like what they see, they could sign him and he could be part of the running back room next year. It sure sounds like he's not going to play this year.
Of all the unpredictability, and then I know we'll hear from Patrick Mahomes here in a minute. Of all the unpredictability of this season, you know what was the most predictable thing that was going to happen? That their running back room wasn't good enough. I mean, I can't emphasize how much we hammered that and yet still got nowhere.
The day that and this is weird because Kareem Hunt has actually been the only real positive in the running game this year, but when they re-signed Kareem Hunt, I remember it was the 1 o'clock hour in March or whatever it was.
Briscoe was
getting ready to come in. And it happened right before Josh walked in. And we're like, does this mean they're not going to draft a running back high? Does this mean they're not going to sign a running back? And that was the whole conversation. And they did draft a running back, Brashard Smith. They waited till the 7th round, and they won't play him very often. I think we all agree that there seems to be something there, but they don't. Okay, all right. I tend to disagree, but they haven't at this point. And so they didn't commit heavy resources to the running back spot. And I say heavy, I shouldn't even use that word.
They didn't commit any resources. The 7th round pick is not a resource.
J.K. Dobbins signed with Denver. He's now gotten hurt again, in fairness, but he was looking great early. Javonte Williams was a free agent running back.
For less money than they paid Elijah Mitchell.
We can go on and on and on. Yeah, Elijah Mitchell's been active 2 games? 1 game?
Uh-huh.
That's it. So, yeah, the running back room, they have to find more explosiveness in the running back room. They do not have a running back on the roster this year, and it's been a couple years, that can take a 10-yard run because of good scheme and blocking and turn it into 30, turn it into 20. And they just don't have that in their offense, and that can make things easier for the guy we're about to hear from right now, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean,
I think just knowing the guys, the mindset that they have is they're going to try to get better and try to go out there and win football games. And at the end of the day, that's what we got to do. It's everybody. It's throwing the ball in the right spots, it's catching the ball, it's blocking, it's defense playing like they did this last game, and then just trying to find ways to win. That's what this is all about. So it doesn't always have to be pretty, but you got to find ways to win football games, and that's something we have to be better at.
Patrick, in what way, if at all, does where you guys are affect this week during the game? Do you feel it at all?
I mean, we understand we got to win. I mean, I think that's plain, that's obvious. I mean, just like you got to win the football game, and so whatever it takes, I mean, we say that every week, but obviously you're kind of at that back against the wall type spot where you're playing a team that's you're chasing that has a big lead in front of you, and so you got to find a way to win. And so you got to have that mindset when you step on the football field.
Patrick, what stood out to you the most looking back at your own game Sunday? What sorts of things will stay with you?
Yeah, just little things here and there. I mean, just trying to keep drives going, and there's times to be aggressive, and there's times when just get the ball out of your hand and let guys make plays. And I think that was something that when I look back at myself is there were certain times in certain spots of the game where I could have maybe taken a completion instead of trying to go for the home run shot. So that stuff I have to continue to get better at.
When it comes to this Chargers defense, obviously playing them in Brazil seems so long ago. Have you seen any differences, or do you see a lot of the same attacking type of defense?
I mean, yeah. There's differences and there's the same. You get better as the season goes on. You learn about yourself, and they do a good job of the defensive line kind of playing as a unit, getting to the quarterback. The linebackers fly around with speed, and obviously Derwin can play kind of the secondary or kind of in the box as well. And so they have a great job of kind of playing complementary football together as a defense, and then they have a great defensive coordinator, and so it's a heck of a challenge for us, and so we're excited for it.
When I guess you're in the situation, doubt can creep in within the team. I guess what gives you the confidence still that you could rip 4 games off in a row?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of how I'm wired. It's just that I believe that this team can win any football game, but we have to come and show that, and so this will be a great challenge for us, and we understand that, and we'll have to have a great week of practice, try to prepare ourselves, and then just try to win it on Sunday.
What's your responsibility as far as during the week to make sure nobody's down, right? Because this is really unfamiliar territory for almost everybody on this roster to be in the hunt, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, you have to just make sure you have a great day of practice. We had a great walkthrough. We just came from, and now it's just going into practice and have a great day of practice. Kind of getting extra work in with the guys on the side, like I always do. And then when you're in when you're in that practice and that work, you have conversations with guys and kind of keep them in the right mindset. But I haven't had any I guess looks at like seeing guys down or anything like that. Obviously, you want to win, and guys hate losing. But at the end of the day, we know that we have to handle our business first. We have to win the football games, and then let the rest kind of handle itself.
As you look back to Sunday and maybe review film, how protected did you feel behind the offensive line with some replacements?
Yeah, I thought they did a great job. That's a great defensive line, and with a lot of guys coming in, kind of in the game as well, and then kind of stepping up. I thought they did a great job of fighting and battling, and giving me time to make some of these throws down the field. And so they'll have to continue that. This is another great challenge for them, and hopefully we get some guys back as well. So it'll be a great challenge for us as an offense to go up against this defense.
From that perspective, what do you think it'll take for you guys to find more solutions when it comes to man coverage? I know that's something you guys have had to counterattack multiple times throughout your career, but it seems like more teams are getting comfortable playing man coverage.
Yeah, I mean, we have to keep giving them different looks and different things to beat the man coverage as far as giving our guys opportunities to get themselves open. And then I think what will be important is getting with our guys and know what's their best routes against man coverage and getting them those routes in the right situation. And so that's stuff that we've done, and we kind of go through waves of being able to beat it, and then kind of teams kind of obviously adjust and stuff like that. So we have to make those adjustments as well again and showcase that we can beat the man coverage, and then whenever they get in zone, showcase we can beat that as well.
Patrick, on the offensive line, then, outsiders, everyone thought it was going to be a really rough day. You were going to have to get rid of the ball super quick. And, the line did hold up better than I think everybody outside this building probably thought it was going to. Did you feel yourself gaining confidence during the game? Is that the kind of mental checklist you're going through that, hey, it's working pretty good? I mean, do you have more time than I thought?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think they just did a great job in general. Like, I have trust in those guys, but until you're out there on the football field, you never know. And I thought they did a great job against a great defensive line. And so just continue to build more and more trust with them, giving them more chances so I can give receivers better chances down the field.
Patrick, what are your thoughts on your alma mater and what inspired you most about Texas Tech this year?
No, it's just really cool because, I mean, obviously you can say you're going to do things and you can put money into it, but you got to build the culture. You got to build the culture of what it's about, and you can see it when they play football is that they truly love each other. And so for them to be able to get into the playoffs, win the Big 12 championship, which I know was their first goal, and have an opportunity to go compete for a national championship, I'm excited to watch them go through that process.
Todd?
Kind of on that front, I saw this quote from Troy Aikman about he had done some NIL stuff, and you're involved in the NIL there, and it didn't work out. He didn't get a thank you note, whatever. I mean, have you enjoyed being a part of that NIL bit at Tech? And it seems like I'm sure you feel the love down there. They've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, they definitely have shown me love. They always have, and then I've done some helping out with the NIL stuff, but. I mean, like they'll put my name on a room that I haven't done anything to even put on the room. So I mean, they definitely show me love, and I mean, it kind of goes vice versa. As I really like to see the people that are in charge there and how they've had success because they're the right people. Coach McGuire, Kirby Hocutt, the Baron Morton playing quarterback. Like all these guys have went through the process of building the program, and so it's cool to see them have success. To add along with all the other guys and how they've kind of all bought into the brand.
Blair?
And speaking of culture, you guys have that here, and is that something that you can use to help get you through this final month? Is kind of lean on the culture that you guys have developed here?
Yeah, you're gonna have to. We were in unprecedented territory. It's a place that we haven't been since I've been here, and so I think you lean on the guys that have kind of battled through adversity and came out better on the other side, and so. That's Chris, Trav, all these guys that have won championships. It hasn't always been pretty, but it'll really test us to see what type of character we are, and I think we got the guys in the room to do it.
Steve?
Patrick, I don't know if you saw it, but Katie was asked about the criticism you received, and he said no matter what, you still, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Just want to get your thoughts on, a guy like Katie saying that about you.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get any compliment from one of the greats of any profession, it's special, and so. I still have a long ways to go. I always say I still have a lot left in my career, but we've built something special here in Kansas City, and I don't take that for granted. We're going to go out there and execute it and do whatever we can to keep building as my career goes on.
Last one, Sam.
Patrick, do you draw on different things for motivation throughout the year? Do you have to draw on something different? You called it unprecedented territory for where you guys typically are. Do you draw on something different because of that, or do you find it to be the same?
I mean, I always want to win, so it's not like I have to draw too far. But I mean, when I look at it now, it's like, I mean, I don't know what the percentages are, but I know they're not high, and I think it'd be special if we get into the playoffs and can make a run. So why not give ourselves a chance to do that? And we have to start by winning football games, and so that's what we'll start at.
Okay, thanks, Reid.
All right, so that was Patrick Mahomes speaking live here on 96.5. The Fan said they're in unprecedented territory with a 6-7 start. Obviously, that is certainly the case. In his time as a starting quarterback, they have never been in a spot like this. And I'm sure it's also a weird, not only a weird feeling, but even when you're frankly asked questions, if you're Mahomes, you're at the podium, and like they're not idiots. He knows that the odds of making it are very, very slim. But you have to convince yourself and the rest of the team that, hey, we can still do this. Like, that's the mindset. These guys are extremely competitive individuals. Like, that's not how they operate.
Things
but
happen.
I'm
Let's
sure
play.
You have to admit, though, this is tougher than it ever has been, though, probably to convince yourself that you still have a shot.
Yeah, I think so. Otherwise, then, why not just pack it up? Close up shop. Say, well, that shoulder's been bothering you, Worthy, so if it needed off-season surgery, you can just go ahead and have that now and, let's play Gardner Minshew the rest of the way. Like, no, that's not the mindset. They are still, and they're inside the Chiefs locker room. Whether we think it's going to happen or not is irrelevant. They are statistically alive for a playoff spot. If you are statistically alive for a playoff spot and your starting quarterback is still available, then you should be going for it. Look, if you're a team who's statistically alive, who has lost so many pieces it's not plausible, then, we can have a different conversation about whether or not you should be rooting for them to lose. I'm not rooting for the Chiefs to go 0-4. I would if you made me choose between 0-4 and 4-0, I'm choosing 4-0 because that gives them a shot at the playoffs. And and for whatever it's worth, as bad as this season's gone and all the things that have gone wrong, if the Chiefs did win their next 4 games and all those other things happened and they got in the playoffs, you can damn sure bet, Gold, I will talk myself into them having a run. I assure you. I assure you I'll talk myself into it because I'll still see Patrick Mahomes as the starting quarterback. Like, I don't think they're getting there. But if they did, I'd be probably having that conversation with myself, you know?
On Wednesdays, don't forget our lunch partner here on Cody and Gold, our friends over at Jefferson's, whether it's football season and before we know it'll be baseball season again. A great place to watch your favorite team, great daily specials, great happy hour. Locations in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, in Joplin. Of course, bring your friends and family out to Jefferson's. Jefferson's wings, burgers, oysters, and each and every Wednesday around this time, your chance to win a $50 gift card to Jefferson's. Can be used at any of those locations. We'll do caller number 7 losses, sorry. 913-586-7967. 913-586-7965. You got me very confused. I gave a wrong number now because it's 67.
6-7 too much.
586-7965. All right, 7th caller. Thank you. Drew will hook you up with a $50 gift card to Jefferson's.
Do you know the hand gesture that goes with 6-7 by now?
Yeah,
okay, I'm just making sure.
Come on, I'm not. I mean, I may not have kids, but I'm aware of this.
It's kind of hard
there's
to
also
miss.
athletes doing it after scoring
there
touchdowns. Xavier Worthy, I think, did it a couple weeks ago.
He did. Someone in the Chiefs game, I think, in the last week did it.
Did they?
Or at least it looked like it, and we all assume it's that way in case.
Everybody had the 6-7 joke going after the Sunday night. I understand that.
Oh, yeah, it was time. It was time to fire it off. No, I just, I don't know. This team is such a weird place. I imagine keeping the motivations high is a challenge. Is going to continue to be a challenge. Quickly, before we had gone to, we were talking about, before we played Patrick Mahomes, we were talking about the running backs there for a minute. Again, I just want to go back to that in the sense that some things are predictable. I'm sorry. When we say Kareem Hunt's been good, yeah, he's been fine. Zero explosion. And I think the only reason we're saying he's been good is because he's been good in short yardage. He's good at one thing. The rest of it is not like, is he even averaging, like genuinely, is he averaging 4 yards a carry?
I don't know. All I know is Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, the 1-2 punch, if we can call it that, is not a punch at all.
Not a punch, yeah. A flick at best.
Yeah.
Whatever weakness category you want to put it under, it certainly would land in there. I just want to look up. He is averaging 3.8 yards per carry. We don't have to pretend Kareem Hunt's season is something it's not. You know what Kareem Hunt's been good at? 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Other than that, he's not very good. He's not any better than any below average running back in the course of the NFL. He's dropped multiple passes out of the backfield, still not a receiving threat. Isaiah Pacheco's been hurt and worse, and they won't put Rashard Smith on the field. It stinks as a running back unit, but this was not like a, oh no, what happened? We knew. And you, Brett Veach, help me play.
It's not what? This is December 10th. It's not the first Wednesday.
Request this?
It's not the first Wednesday of the month. This better not be the sounder that I think it is.
Oh, it is the sounder that you're thinking of.
This sounder typically has been used for one thing and one thing only on this show, and that is for mock drafts. And let me double check. Yes, December 10th, 2025. I said no mock drafts for the 2026 draft until we're in the year of the 2026 draft, as in we have to wait till the first week of January. What are we doing? What are we doing right now?
I couldn't help myself, fellas, because Field Yates came out with a mock draft, and I don't think you're going to like where it goes because
is it Jeremiah Love? Is it related to these running backs?
Because it relates to what you were just talking about.
No, I don't like it because we're talking draft on December 10th. That's why I don't like it.
And you might hate it more because with the 14th pick, Field Yates has the Chiefs taking Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame.
Look, he's a hell of a player.
He is.
That's not the issue.
Time.
He's a hell of a player. He's going to finish probably 3rd or 4th in Heisman voting. Great player. The Chiefs should not spend their first pick, as much as we know they need a running back, on Jeremiah Love at 14. Now, you want to tell me they trade back and he's there at 19 or 20, we can have a different conversation. Maybe some of this is still the scar tissue from the Clyde Edwards-Helaire thing, and Jeremiah Love is a way better back than Clyde ever was in college, too. And Clyde was a pretty good back
Jonathan
at
Taylor
LSU.
was right there, man.
No, I don't. I'm upset. You got me fired up because I do not want mock draft sounders happening until 2026.
But it's fun.
This is the point where we're at
What
right
do I
now.
have going on?
No.
This is the point where we're at. I know they still technically have a shot, but I don't think this is a bad thing. Looking at this, I will say, do you want to hear?
On this show,
you want to hear some of the description? So Field Yates does mention they might have some pause after the pick of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but Love is too good to pass up. He is amazingly explosive, agile, and balanced runner who effortlessly makes defenders miss. He's got 60 forced missed tackles, on just 199 carries. The dude is a highlight reel.
And he doesn't have the same. He doesn't have the same workload that Ashton Genty had. So that's the positive.
He also is averaging 10.4 yards per catch. That he has, and he is a guy that out of the backfield has been very good in the passing game.
He is a great fit, and I was wrong when the Lions took Jahmyr Gibbs, and I can still hate this. Is that okay? Like every once in a while, it does work. I feel like I'm still allowed to hate this.
Part of the reason that the biggest need, yes,
defensive line. You're going to hear me say that 100 more times before the draft, if not 1,000.
Any mock draft that doesn't have a defensive lineman, Gold's going to be
the first pick of the Chiefs draft has to be I don't know who, defensive linemen. If they end up trading and they get multiple first-round picks, then sure, they could take a running back with one of their first-round picks if they end up with two of them. It cannot be the only first-round pick that they take, especially if it's 14. And Jeremiah Love can go on and have a really nice career. This is not like an anti-Jeremiah Love thing.
What level of running back as a pro would you have to lock in to use the 14th overall pick? If I said he is right now Bijan Robinson as he currently sits, that's what he'll be when he gets in the league, and we know it as a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough?
Yes.
Christian McCaffrey. Is there what's the level?
Christian McCaffrey. Yes, obviously.
If it's McCaffrey, it's a lock.
Obviously, yes.
If you knew he was Jahmyr Gibbs right now, yes.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs is the best running back in football right now. He really is.
I mean, Bijan might finish with 1,000.
Yeah,
and this offense,
he's another guy. Yeah.
The only pushback, and you're right, it's this offense. In Atlanta, I hadn't done anything for them.
No, but we know for the Chiefs it would mean more than I told you. I actually think in a weird way you can take better risk like that as a team that has the other pieces. Because the mistake these teams make is they take a running back when they don't even have a quarterback. That's why Jahmyr Gibbs worked, right? They have a quarterback.
To me, it's just the balance. Like, we can all acknowledge that they need more explosiveness in the backfield, that they have not invested there in a while, that it's become something they've completely ignored here as of late, and that has to change. While also not feeling like they have to spend their highest draft pick in the Brett Veach era, in the Brett Veach era, I guess it would be, on a running back. That's all.
He is, historically, I'll say right now, he has one big incomplete because Simmons, if he ends up being an all-pro or Pro Bowl caliber left tackle, the grading system's going to go up. And half the years he's been the GM, he does not have a first-round pick. We break this down tomorrow. He's not exactly hit on his early round picks to great success. Because Worthy right now is having the first two same years statistically as McCole Hardman did.
Somebody asked what size is Jeremiah Love. He's 6'2", 215.
Not even like a small back.
Since you already broke the glass open here and decided to do a mock draft.
He's averaging 7 yards a carry right now.
2025, not 2026. Now I'm curious. Tell me what some of the other highlights are.
Yeah, who goes number one? Fernando Mendoza?
Yes, Fernando Mendoza. And by the way, this field has a trade for in order to get Fernando Mendoza. That is,
why are we doing trades in mock
drafts?
That's
the Jets moving up to number 1 with the projected first-round pick of the Giants to get Fernando Mendoza. The Raiders at number 2 take Dante Moore. The Titans take Arvell Reese, edge and linebacker out of Ohio State.
It's so far from the draft, I don't even know who any of these people are.
I don't have my scouting
you
reports.
Know who Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore are.
I know who Fernando. Yeah, but then you got to the third person. I didn't even know who you were talking about.
Arvell Reese might be the second best player on that defense.
I don't have my superlatives ready to go yet. It's too early. It's too early. The knee bend, hip. All that. I don't have all that.
Carnell Tate to the Browns at
powerful
4.
lower body. We don't have any of that.
I'll get to the NFC West teams as well. They do have the Bengals taking Reuben Bain Jr. Thankfully, again, who's to say they won't take an offensive?
He'll be a bust. Poor guy.
Reuben Bain is big time.
If they take another offensive player, fire the GM. Malpractice.
Yeah.
We think the Chiefs can't take a running back. If the Cincinnati Bengals take any player on offense, it's malpractice.
Yep. Duke Tobin should be gone. But anyways, getting to we already mentioned the Raiders.
Tobin. He almost sounds person's name. This is why he fails. He's it wasn't a good anyway, and he's got a stupid name. Of course, somebody named Duke Tobin is not succeeding. That's a stupid name.
At 24, he has the Chargers taking Oliva Vega Ione, guard out of Penn State.
Sure.
And then he has the Denver Broncos at 32, mind you. Taking Chris Bell, wide receiver out of Louisville. He's one of those guys that's big, tall, can go catch the football on high point, by the way. One of those guys the Chiefs could be interested in, depending on where he falls. They also have the Rams at 31, taking Ty Simpson out of Alabama.
Oh, I like that. I kind of like that.
I saw one. This was a different mock draft. I don't know what it would take, but they had the Rams trading up to number 1 to take Mendoza. I don't know how that would happen or what they'd have to give up.
Their GM used to say F them picks in that shirt or whatever it was, right?
And if they landed, if Mendoza was a hit too, you would.
Less need.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right. There's a very, very, very
4 month early.
Earliest
mock
early
draft.
mock
I'm
draft.
surprised Bink has not texted in.
Somebody
quite
mentioned
honestly.
Peter Woods. Peter Woods was taken before the Chiefs pick.
Woods.
Peter Woods is one of the best, if not the best, interior defensive lineman in the draft.
That's the
Point
name.
blank. Him or David Bailey, but Peter Woods is that guy.
Binkley probably doesn't even have a mock draft out yet.
Oh, yes, he does.
No, we actually rang the sounder
when you were gone.
when you were gone and Bink was filling in.
And he had a mock?
Yeah, he had him taking Christian Miller, defensive lineman from Alabama. Or no, Georgia.
Okay. Well, at least we didn't beat Bink. So, that's a good sign. We didn't beat him to the mock draft situation.
All right, up next, we teased it earlier. We just ran out of time. I want to get back into Rashee Rice a little bit and what Nate Taylor told us yesterday about the effort level, although you heard Andy asked about that. So we'll react and what it means about a future contract.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
The world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips has arrived in Missouri. Circus Sports is sports betting the way it should be. With high app limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service, Circus Sports is better for the better. From football to basketball, college sports to pro, start betting like the pros in Missouri. Built for sports bettors by sports bettors. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. Must be 21 or older. For problem gambling, call the Problem Gamblers Helpline at 1-800-522-4700.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly. Home remodeling shouldn't be stressful. Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and West Shore Home is proving it doesn't have to be. With real-time scheduling and precision scan-to-plan accuracy, they make your remodel fast, easy, and convenient. That's why hundreds of thousands of homeowners have trusted West Shore Home to transform their bathroom, windows, and doors. Plus, right now, when you buy a full bath remodel, you'll get a second shower for free and lock in an extra $500 off just for listening to the show. But you need to schedule now at westshorehome.com/fan.
Are you like everybody else in the world who has no idea what to get everyone for the holidays? Well, you're in luck. We got you. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Because with hands-free Skechers slip-ins, you just step into them and they're on. There's no bending down, no touching, no fuss. Plus, Skechers slip-ins come in everyone's favorite styles and colors. And you can get slip-ins everywhere stylish footwear is sold, including a Skechers store. Or if you're too busy to shop in person, just get them online at Skechers.com, Amazon, and more.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/
life.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-922-1284. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-922-1284. 800-922-1284. 800-922-1284.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results vary. Consult with your tax professional prior to enrollment.
If you've been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, this is what it sounds like to be 1,000,000 miles away. Imagine being 1,000,000 miles away. Tremfya Kuselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy. With Tremfya, clearer skin is possible. In clinical trials, at least 70% of patients saw at least 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks. Results may vary. Tremfya is also indicated for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Call 1-800-526-7736 or visit tremfya.com.
Guys, you've heard of TRT, but you have no idea what testosterone can do for you. Over at Synergen X and Low T Center, they have clinics around town to help you receive care and find out what personalized TRT treatment can do with a free TRT test at their center. The on-site labs means results in as little as 20 minutes. No waiting, no delays like other places, and new mobile app to make it easy for follow-up telehealth appointments. Look, you can feel tired or all this other stuff and feel run down. It's like, oh, it's just the season. It's December. I'm busy. No, some of these things can be signs of low T, and you can find out for yourself with a free TRT test over at Synergen X and Low T Center. It's pure, not compounded, so that you can feel full of energy again and get back to yourself. So get in now for your free TRT test. No appointment necessary before 10 a.m. or book ahead at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Who is the area's only dealer for Fronius professional welding equipment? Metal by the Foot, located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold. Coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, Josh Klingler, Chief Sideline Reporter, will join us. Since he's been on the sidelines for these games, the Chiefs haven't been in this spot either, right? This is this unprecedented territory for Josh Klingler as well. Usually when he's on the sideline, everything's
What's he going to do in January?
If they're not in the playoffs, it's a wide open January, I think, for Josh Klingler. So we'll ask him about that in the 1 o'clock hour today. In fact, I believe right around 1:30 or so, right after What's Trending. We usually have him join us a little bit earlier, moved him to around 1:30 or so. I want to talk about Rashee Rice, though, and then we can get into some comments from Xavier Worthy, who just wrapped up talking to the media as well. So yesterday when Nate joined us, we asked him what he made of just this wide receiver room right now. I mean, this is a receiving room that is dropping the football seemingly weekly now. They tied for second in the league in drops. Now, some of those are Travis Kelce, too, but still the entire receiving group. We know Rashee Rice has had some crucial ones. Xavier Worthy will flash at times, and then other times he's not existent. And I understand he's got an ankle injury and a dislocated shoulder, and I think when the season's over, we're going to find out just how hurt he really was in playing. But Rashee Rice is somebody... You got the off-the-field issues, you miss 6 games, you come back, you're the number one wide receiver for this team, you've got everything in the world to play for individually, too, based off of financial situation and the kind of money that you could earn in the future. And listen to what Nate told us yesterday. It's a little bit longer cut, but it was about not winning in man-to-man coverage, which is what you want your number one wide receiver to expect to do.
Yeah.
And then, most importantly, the effort part.
Hey, man, like the offense was kind of all over the place because you weren't around for the first 6 weeks, okay? You came back. They got you in the mix. And then the Buffalo Bills straight up asked you, you ready to beat man coverage? And then the Denver Broncos asked you the next week, straight up, hey, bro, you ready to beat man coverage? Okay. Now, any team with any pulse is going to say, hey, man, that's Derek Stingley. You ready to beat man coverage? It has become apparent that although he can create space, although he does have a good telepathic sense for what Patrick likes, especially when he scrambles, he does not give good effort when it's man-to-man, period.
Now, Andy was asked about that just, 20 minutes ago, and he, of course, pushed back on that. He said it's not for a lack of effort. Now, he was talking specifically the drops in general, but
not every route. He was speaking
yes.
about just general effort, not specific to this.
Look, the production in the numbers, if you extrapolate it out, he's pacing for a 1,200-yard season, which nobody's saying he stinks. That's not the argument.
It's more yards per game than he had the 4 games last year.
The question is, before the season, us and fans were asking the question, is he have a chance to become one of those really, really special wide receivers that you count on consistently and third downs, as in become a top 15, maybe even crack the top 10 at some point in his career in the very near future? And while the numbers are going to say pacing for 1,200, top 10, top 15 receivers aren't dropping these crucial third down passes as much as he has. And nobody's saying CeeDee Lamb's never dropped passes. He had a primetime game where he dropped like 4 of them to open up the season, I think it was. So it happens. So nobody's saying you catch 100% of the passes. However, some of these aren't deep passes, 50-50 balls. I mean,
these are third down, 3rd and 4 in your hand, 10 yards down the field. I think there's probably something a little bit to this. Look, he's just having a weird year. He's going to go to jail for 30 days at some point later in it. Team might very well miss the playoffs, and he missed the first 6 games for the same reason he's going to have to go to jail for 30 days. So he's not having a great 2025, admittedly. The yardage-wise still puts him on par with. By the time this season finishes, there won't be that many wide receivers who finish with 1,200 yards receiving, which he would have done. My problem with what Worthy has turned into this year is it is the most mundane.
Worthy or
Rice, sorry. It is the most mundane 1,200 yards someone can get, in the sense that for the longest part of the season, he needed 14 targets and 10 catches.
Let's be clear, though. He's pacing for 1,200. He's not getting to 1,200. No. He's going to end up with like 850 or 900.
I'm just saying, based on where he's been, he needs 14 targets and 10 catches for 71 yards to get it. He has got to be more explosive and more consistent. And the explosiveness, I can explain when year 1 of coming back from a devastating lower leg injury. But that's the problem. Gold, in the history of time, the extension that normally comes is now. Now, right now. After year 3, you don't have a 5th-year option. You don't go into a dead year where that if he has a massive year, you have to overpay him or franchise tag him. They're going to have to make a very difficult decision now on whether or not to pay Rashee Rice, is my guess. And my instinct, despite the fact I would have thought, no way, I kind of lean no. Maybe it depends on what happens in the draft.
Next year's.
I don't know, man. I'm not moved to tears on it. I wouldn't be offended if they went into the year.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're right. This offseason would be the time you would do it, but I think his circumstances are very unique based on how you already outlined his off-the-field problems that cost him 6 games this year, and he has consequences still to pay up for that. I think you go into next year and play it out. You just play it out.
And then you franchise tag him or give him the big check. I don't want to. The only difference in paying him now is it's a big discount right now.
I understand, but I would. How much of a discount are you getting? Is it worth that, or do you just play it out?
85% of comp, maybe?
I think there's some part, and I don't know if the Chiefs will operate this way. This is just me speaking, but like, would I not want him to prove to me that he can have another clean offseason?
Like no trouble, no injury.
He did. This past offseason was clean. Remember, the accident occurred the year before.
Yeah.
So can he prove to me that he can have 2 off seasons in a row? There's no issues.
Getting a whole extra month too to avoid trouble.
Yeah, true.
At this point.
Jeez.
What?
But no.
Is that throwing?
Yes, we get it. We get it, Cody. We
Salt
get
in
it.
the wound.
We get it. We
My
get it.
bad.
We get it. I would want him to prove that he can have another clean off season. I don't think I need a rush to do it. You're right that there's potential discount here, but is it really worth that? I don't know.
I just, I'm really torn on him because I thought he was going to leap into this top 15 category. Like you watched him last year, or I thought he could. I didn't know if I thought he would.
Mm-hmm.
I had kind of set what I thought was a reasonable standard going in for Rashee Rice the first year back, and I thought missing the 6 games mattered more than it did. But his consistency, again, last year in 4 games. Now, in the 4th game, he was hurt in the first quarter. So he was doing better than this. But in the 4 games, he averaged 72 yards a game. It was obviously going higher than that for the first 3 games. This year, he's averaging 74.3. So he's actually averaging more yards per game. He's averaging a similar number of yards per target. It's not, yards per reception. Sorry, yards per target's down a couple of yards. So maybe a slight difference. But he's not been bad. I don't want to try to pretend like Rashee Rice has been a bad wide receiver. That's just factually not true. The issue is that I thought him stepping back into this offense would just fix a lot of their problems, honestly. They're out here throwing to rookie wide receivers and Xavier Worthy and all these other things. Gold, I thought some of the problems would just be solved with Rashee Rice. And they're not. And I need a position player right now, similar to Travis Kelce did for years for Kansas City. I need a solver. That's part of the issue I have with paying him is do you fix enough of these problems? Do you fix enough problems on offense in order to make this money worth it?
Yeah, I just think you can keep him on your roster for multiple years without having to do that extension.
Next year in a franchise
I just
tag,
want to make sure, given the off the field stuff, that it's something that he can stay on the straight and narrow path, stay out of trouble, see if he can produce in a full season. Remember, he hasn't played a full season in 2 years. Not this year, not last year. So can he get me a full season? And then I'll address it next offseason. And yeah, there's a potential financial cost to that. But I also would rather have that situation come up than you pay him this offseason, even if it's viewed as a slight discount. And then whether he's hurt next year, whether there's another issue, whatever it may be, I would proceed just with some caution. That's all on giving the extension. That's how I would do it.
It's just weird because of the suspension and the injuries and all this other stuff. His career is going to look really weird for 3 years. Through 3 years, let's say he plays the last 4 games. He's going to have 23 games played in 3 years. Well, that's too low, right? That's barely, that's barely anything, not including the playoffs, obviously. He will have finished with 938 yards, 288 yards, and then something based on his current average Gold, 670, 800 yard range. So 938, 288, and 800 yards. And you're the touchdowns are there. The yards per game is there. But you're right. I think at this point you might, and I normally advocate pay early because I think the Chiefs wait too long sometimes. Therefore, Trey Smith, then have to overpay the position, and you're trying to avoid that in some cases. But in there's so many unknowns.
Yeah.
How can you really early pay unless he's willing to take a significant, I'm trying to think about which wide receiver he'd have to be paid for me to be yeah, okay. Because it can't be anywhere near the top probably 10 guys. I'm not paying him anywhere near Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb. Those are all the highest paid guys. Right now, the 10th highest paid wide receiver is Tyreek Hill at $30 million, T. Higgins at $28 million. Look, if he take $28 million, I might give it to him.
I'm just saying, and it's just Nate Taylor, but you got Nate Taylor saying maybe there's an effort problem. I know Andy Reid said there's not, but
Andy's never said anything
right,
about it.
Right. So you got maybe there's a question of effort. You've got the legal issues in the past and the history coupled with what they already knew around the draft time. And he's not a free agent after this season. I would just wait. I don't need to give him an extension this offseason. That's all. Prove to me that, prove me wrong kind of thing. Frankly, prove me wrong that I made a mistake by not paying you the year early. I'm willing to take that risk if I'm Brett Veach and say, you know what? Wow, we should have signed him a year earlier. Normally, I would say, no, you need to be ahead of the curve so it doesn't cost you financially. This is a player, though, I think there's way too much risk involved here to say we got to rush to go pay him this offseason.
Top end wide receivers make $40 million a year. He takes $20 million a year. You sign him.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I just don't think even with his issue, he's not taking that discount. I don't think. I know he needs money. I know he needs money given his legal problems.
For sure.
But I still don't think, we talk about discounts. That number? I mean, I don't know any player that's taking that kind of.
That's a robbery, practically, if he took
Yeah.
that kind of paycheck. Considering he would pace for out this year a 1,200-yard receiver. You're correct.
Random question.
The random question of the day is brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Gold, you, Drew, text line 913-586-7965. And, of course, on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, we live stream the show 4 hours every single day. So it's kind of a twofold random question. I want to know something about your group chats, nothing incriminating.
Okay, all right.
And then also about the interest in a particular thing. So Mina Kimes was on Pablo Torre's podcast, and they were talking about a group chat that they are in together. That is just one group chat with a group of people, and the only thing they discuss in it is Avatar. Don't know why it started that way. She claims it's not a very good movie, but that is a thing that has come, and that they were trying to make plans to go see the new Avatar movie. So the question I have for you is, what is the one group chat thing that exists with you guys that for whatever reason, either that group chat or another, is a constant form of conversation that you don't understand why you're in this one? I know mine. And second, does anyone want to see this new Avatar movie?
No.
Is there do you know a single person in your life that wants to go to the theaters to check out this Avatar movie? Because I don't, and I'm not going to see it. And I don't know anybody who wants to see it.
I
So
love
it's a
the
two-part
original.
question.
I love the original Avatar. I didn't see the second one. I think they already came out with, right?
They had a second one?
Or isn't this the
Yes,
third?
yes.
This is the third.
The
Yeah.
Way of Water was the
There you
second
go.
one.
The first one, I thought, given at the time it was released, it was incredible, right? The visuals were awesome and all that. I have no interest in seeing any more. The first one though was.
Would you ever rewatch it though? Like Avatar ever going to catch a rewatch in your life?
I'd have to be with like my nephews or something, I guess. I don't
Why
know.
are they watching Avatar? Don't put them through
The
that.
movie was really, 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 really good.
Never
Yes,
saw
it
it,
was.
and it seems
Yes,
like it
it
has
was.
very mixed reactions. I know a lot of people thought it stunk. What?
Look, I mean, it's a movie
Look,
review.
it
There's
was-
plenty of people that, that's just a
I
normal.
never
yeah.
saw it. And I have even less interest in the sequels. They look so
I don't know if
stupid.
I would like it as much now. I mean, back then also some of it, Drew, was not only was I thought the plot was good, but also the visuals for its time
The
were like,
visuals
oh
were
my god, we've
incredible.
never seen anything like this. And now I don't know if we would be as amazed. I mean, I saw it the one time in theaters, and I've never watched it again. And this was, when did that come out, guys? 15 years ago? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think
12
that
years
was the
ago?
big thing between the first and the second one is it was a long period of time in between where you kind of lost interest in it.
But to answer your group chat question, is there? I mean, there's a group chat I have, but it's not like why are we talking about? There's a group chat I'm in that all we talk about is this current fantasy football league that I'm in.
That's it?
That's it.
And it's everybody in the fantasy.
Yep.
I'm in one fantasy football group chat, and fantasy is pretty much the only thing discussing it. I'm in a group chat that I would say 80% of the conversation is wrestling related. And as somebody who does not watch wrestling.
You're not a wrestling guy.
No, but they are. And I'm friends
Do
with
you
them.
ever respond?
Therefore, well, I don't have any opinion. I mean, occasionally I might drop.
So you're just in there, just peeking in, just peeking in.
I'm just like on the side of the life,
Okay.
I don't have any particular affinity for it. I have side. Do you guys have any of those? Do you guys have any side group chats from the main group chat where you don't really?
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
Classic, right?
For
Where there's
sure.
like the main group chat's like 11 people, 12 people, and the 5 of you would like to discuss. I have group chats that I swear to God, the only thing we do is discuss what the other people are talking about in the other group chat that you're not trying to toss into there. Does that sound about right to you guys?
Right.
The side group chat. Are there side group chats without me? Probably, huh?
I don't know. I mean, our group chat, the one with some coworkers, there was some text today, I guess.
Barber thinks the Chiefs he wrote out how the Chiefs make the playoffs and has every AFC West team fading out besides the Chiefs.
Okay.
Who turned it around?
Okay.
Sure.
Shout out to
There
Barber.
were a few people who said they liked Avatar for what it's worth.
I
on
really
the
liked the
text
first one.
line.
I
Yeah.
wanted to see the second one. I haven't, so I guess I did
Someone
not
says it's
fulfill
just
those
Pocahontas, but with aliens. I mean, I get.
So wait, they're
I-
just like going across the country in search
Well, the
of-
company. Well, this company is taking over this certain area and displacing these aliens. And then there's one of the humans from the bad guy side that tries to help save. Like that's the
I'm
Pocahontas
sorry.
connection.
The description of this plot makes this movie sound stupid.
No, it's like Pocahontas with aliens.
Cody, I think you
Pocahontas with aliens.
Cody, I think you really would
Doesn't
like.
sell me on it.
Cody.
Pocahontas with aliens does not sell me on seeing Avatar.
So
it does the opposite.
Part of the storyline as well is the main character. I forget his name, but the main character.
Try to talk to this more.
The main character is in a wheelchair. He's a former
This is getting so much worse.
Hang on, no. You have to hear me out.
So
he's a vet, and they're using him in this experiment essentially, where he hops into this box, so like essentially a coffin, and he enters this world as an avatar, just like these other people. And I think he falls in love with the fact not only that
he infiltrates this tribe. That's the Pocahontas connection.
So he falls in love with this lady essentially, but also he doesn't have his legs are amputated. He has legs as an avatar. He can run again. He gets the feeling of running again and having a fully composed body. And I think that's part of what he also enjoys and embraces. And he sides along with the aliens in this movie.
You guys are actively making the odds of me watching this movie worse. Like, I mean, it sounds dumber the more you
The movie set,
it.
Cody, in 2154.
The more you describe it.
2154.
And I like sci-fi as a genre. The more you describe it, the less I want to see it.
I will say a lot of people are correct, though. I think a lot of people might just be going to see the movie because you get the Doomsday trailer within the movie. Of course, you'll be able to see it on social media as well.
Yeah, why am I going to the movie to get the trailer I can watch on online?
I think it's because you get you're the first ones to see it. You get the cinematic experience, the cinematic trailer, as opposed to the shorter version I'm sure that we're going to get.
Excellent. Someone said, is Drew doing a movie review for the movie kids? I don't know.
Now, my friend, the text line and my friend Nathan, they're both saying it's more like Dances with Wolves than it is. And I doubt Drew even knows what Dances with Wolves is.
But it's an alien. It's an alien version of that. That's fair.
I've never heard of that movie before.
That's fair. I actually think you would like it. You just are so negative about it going in
yeah,
that I don't know.
I
don't know if there's any chance you'll like it because you're gonna pick apart every little thing.
No chance.
But I actually think
I also feel like I might have less appreciation for James Cameron post 1996
you don't like James Cameron. Okay.
Than most, it appears.
I'd
have to look up all of his movies, but it doesn't seem like I have. And he's also planning like 14 of these or something.
The problem now is at the time I remember I was so amazed with the visual element of the movie. And now you would not be as amazed because
it looks like a lot of other movies. Yeah. But I think you should see it.
Now people are mad at you, Drew, for not watching Dances with Wolves. Now people are mentioning
Fern
Gully.
I have seen Fern Gully.
I don't know what that is.
When did that movie come out?
Cartoon from our
Dancing with Wolves. When did that movie release?
I don't know, early 90s. Please, Papa.
Yeah.
I was born in 1995, so that movie might be older than I am.
My kids aren't asking to go watch Avatar right now. They're excited for
kids
the new
sitting through a 3-hour movie.
movie.
Good luck.
No chance.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you got the new SpongeBob movie coming out.
Are you going to see that?
And now people are telling me to go see new. I can't even see. Someone says the 3D one was awesome for the Avatar. I can't even see 3D movies. My eyes don't work that way. I can't.
Oh yeah,
I can't do it.
You've talked about that.
Oh man.
It seems kind of gimmicky anyway, but I might just be saying that as someone who's never been able to see it. So I was like, it seems kind of stupid. The one time I remember, like when I realized finally, Drew, that I didn't have vision, we went to a 3D screening of something with people, and we got out of there, and I'm like, what a waste of time. What was like, nothing was 3D. What are we even doing here? And then I found out a year later that my eyes can't like focus at the same time.
So everybody else got the experience, but you did not.
Yeah.
I once in a movie. I once saw.
I can't see like a 3D movie. I don't 3D.
I don't know why I saw this movie. Maybe I don't think it was the wrong movie either. I once saw March of the Penguins, dead serious, in the movie theater.
What?
I don't know why. And I don't even know if I necessarily agreed to it. I was hanging out with some friends and they said, "Hey, let's go see this movie." I said, "Sure." March of the Penguins.
10 minutes feels like a lifetime when I'm watching that.
Yeah, I agree.
That movie, 100%.
So, but as much as you guys like the first Avatar, neither of you are going to go see the new one.
Correct.
Okay. We learned about group chats. We learned about Avatar.
Whoa, is this true? This text, real quick. You've got my attention from the 816. Someone says Peaky Blinders is coming out with a movie in theaters.
Yeah, I did see that.
You didn't know this?
That might get me back to the theaters. That might get me back in.
It's coming out, I believe, in March.
Oh, heck yeah.
All right. Because what they were going to do, instead of doing a new season, they're making a movie.
Great. Oh, I truly had no idea.
There's also another
I'm
Knives
very
Out
excited
movie for
about
those
this.
who like the
now, will it have the
mysteries on
same
Friday.
cast? Like, are we still going to get
Cillian Murphy and all those.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cillian's in there.
Oh, this is great. The Immortal Man.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay.
That might be one of the best shows.
It's an all-timer. It is an all-timer.
In like TV
it's not top
series
3,
history.
but it's an all-time. It can still be an all-timer.
Yeah,
Yep.
Peaky Blinders is
This
up
is the
there.
first time I feel like there's a show that both you and Drew have watched.
Wow, we've got over this.
You guys have very
Yeah.
little TV commonality.
I haven't kept up with the Scooby-Doo releases as of late.
They haven't either because there's no new ones.
All right. Up next, let's get back into a little bit on the college football route. What just happened out in Utah that could change the way college sports operates? And then Josh Klingler will join us a little bit later on in the 1 o'clock hour to talk some Chiefs.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Chris Jones. You're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door if it isn't ready. Let Overhead Door Company of Kansas City come out and perform their 14-point tune-up on the garage door and 12-point tune-up on the opener. One price covers 3 garage doors and openers. The work is guaranteed. Overhead Door Company of Kansas City, trusted here since 1927. Call now to schedule your garage door tune-up, 816-221-0072, or schedule online at ohdkc.com. ohdkc.com.
It's football season, and the best place to catch every play is Jefferson's, with great daily specials, an unbeatable happy hour, and plenty of TVs. Every seat is the best seat in the house. Bring your friends, bring your family, and bring your appetite. From legendary wings to juicy burgers to fresh oysters, Jefferson's has your game day covered, with locations in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin. Jefferson's is your ultimate game day destination. Jefferson's, wings, burgers, oysters.
BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sports fans in Missouri can sign up for BetMGM using bonus code DUSTY and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet does not win. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day. Get into hockey, basketball, and pro football with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM rewards points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sign up today using bonus code DUSTY to receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM, make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Minimum deposit of $10 to participate. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Hey, folks. I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth. Why not start today?
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-922-1284. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-922-1284. 800-922-1284. 800-922-1284.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results vary. Consult with your tax professional prior to enrollment.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for behind-the-scenes videos like MVP Monday, Chiefs Take Tuesday, and Best Bets. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, 1 o'clock hour on a Wednesday. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Half hour away from Josh Klingler calling in. He, of course, is the Chiefs sideline reporter. We'll get his thoughts on the final 4 games here, most likely, of the 2025 season. New territory for him since he's been part of the broadcast crew on the sidelines, and I want to get really his perspective on the mood really on the sideline. We were both in the locker room as well, but he's there on the sideline throughout the entire game. Has he noticed just a complete shift on the sideline or not? But we'll get into that with him in a little bit. I want to start the hour talking a little college football, though. 2 different elements, 2 things that are game changers potentially. One is happening, another might happen. The one that is happening is what Utah just announced. And I'll be honest, I did not think the University of Utah and their athletic department would be the first one of all these to do it, but here we are. Yesterday, there was a story out from Front Office Sports, and then I think like one of these sites, Winter Sports Law, which is another more like business side of college sports Twitter account, that Utah is moving its athletics program into a new for-profit entity that is going to be owned by the university, a private equity firm, and select donors. Why are they doing it? They're going to get a $500 million capital infusion and operational expertise, as they say, from the equity firm. This is where we're headed in college athletics. And what's tricky is we already know we've had boosters for many, many years, and they have influence. That's a lot of the reason why they donate is they want influence. And it's why, frankly, I think somebody like James Franklin got ousted at Penn State, is because the boosters had enough. Yes, he didn't win to their standard, but they were also in a national semifinal, for crying out loud, the year before. It also allows a prominent group of donors to purchase a stake in this new Utah brands entertainment spinoff that they're basically going to have. So this is a way for these schools to get quick cash infusion. But the danger, of course, is what happens. Well, they own you, but what happens when the revenues don't continue at the same pace that they once were? If, in fact, the product is suffering. They are not saying the private equity firm will get to decide who, hey, you have to fire their head coach. That'll still be left up to the school president and the AD.
But we know the kind of pressure they can put on.
There's going to be even more pressure than what you're already getting from boosters. Those same boosters will then have a chance to buy a 5% stake in this, like actually buy a stake into your athletic department.
Look, I don't know whether or not and this is genuinely just part of the issue. I don't know whether or not they're going to handle this way that some of these businesses gone, because the current model of private equity is we purchase you, we own your assets, we then lease back your assets to you, file for bankruptcy, get our cash out, and now we got to try to rebuild the business model. So, like, how are the private equity firms planning on getting money out of this? It's not a for sale NFL team or Major League Baseball team. Because you and I said this before. Buying a Major League Baseball team or an NFL team, it's guaranteed money if you can afford it. Like, it will eventually turn into more money. It has been a 100% lock. Matter of fact, very few things appreciate at the level of this. And maybe there's some part of, like, being a part of this private equity thing makes you feel like you're part of an NFL ownership group, but not really, because you don't have the same amount of say. You're supposed to help with ticket sales and merchandising and jersey patches. How are they planning getting $500 million out quick? This feels like a real risk for a university or for a conference. I think it's why there's been a couple of teams in the Big Ten have been fighting against it, because the Big Ten was working on one of these deals for the whole conference.
Yeah.
And there have been a couple of pushbacks from a few of the universities.
And Boise State, I know they're in the group of 5 level. They I don't know if it's they spun off the athletic department. I don't know if it was that, but they have partnered with a private equity firm. I don't know the exact details, but this is something that is going to continue to happen. This is just the first major university, I believe, to do it. But you're right. It's you're basically getting a $500 million, payday loan, if you will. And you are saying the long-term revenue we're not going to get in exchange for the upfront cash. And you're hoping, everybody involved is hoping, that the current trend of athletic revenues continue for your athletic department. And this is just further separation of athletic department from university. That's what this is.
I think, and you guys mentioned it, when we talked about it a little bit earlier, I think just the expectations that also come along with these things, because the risk is so high that you need to try to take advantage of as much where, just looking at Utah briefly, Kyle Whittingham's been there for like 17, 18 years now. Not getting to a playoff is not good enough. Like for something like this, where you're going to get an investment like this,
someone's phoned you $500 million.
You have to make the playoff every single year. I think that's the expectation. Where if that doesn't happen, hey, sorry, man, you've been great for this program. You've been the face of the program for a long time now, almost 2 decades, but you go 10-2 and you don't make it. Sorry, man, this ain't good enough. We're going to fire you. I think it turns into a very it makes you feel in a way slightly bad for the coaches, because 10-2 isn't good enough. Granted, it wasn't good enough at Penn State either, I suppose. But now that the private equity is involved, it feels like the money risk is there even higher, where you have to perform, plain and simple.
To Cody's point, though, maybe it'll be different with athletics, but I'm not convinced. It sounds like you aren't either.
No.
If you just look at some of the recent numbers, this is from Forbes. So 52, as of October of this year, 52 private equity-backed companies filed for bankruptcy. Okay. So
it's been a part of the business model.
So
Utah athletics, I don't think, can file for bankruptcy. So I don't really understand. And I guess, what does Utah need the $500 million for? What are they putting it into?
They want to
just facilities.
They want to be able to buy the roster.
NIL.
They want to do what BYU and Texas Tech is doing.
They can use it for NIL. They can use it for facilities. Basically the cost to run an athletic department.
Because at this point, it's like the cost of running an NFL team.
And evidently, they don't have the booster. Like, for Texas Tech, they've got Cody Campbell. They've got the booster level that can give them that extra money.
There's some rich dude named Cody in Texas Tech?
Evidently, Utah doesn't have the same access to alumni who are either willing to or have the funds to upgrade their programs and facilities to the level of Texas Tech or BYU currently, at least from the Big 12 side of things.
I hope we're wrong, but based off of how this typically goes, this will not end up ending well.
Probably not.
I hope that's not the case, but
man, that's weird.
Usually doesn't end well.
Earlier on Twitch, because we're on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and all that, somebody had correctly pointed out, because I was making fun of Tubin's name, had said, your name's Cody Tapp. That's not exactly an awesome name either. I said, that's a fair point. I said, there are no CEOs named Cody on this planet.
And here you go.
Cody Campbell, ex-CEO. He was a CEO.
That man is
there
loaded,
was
too.
one
That man
CEO named Cody. Cody Campbell's got a little bit more of a CEO vibe. Like
that man has got some cash on him,
now,
too.
The only difference, and someone tweeted this to me just a second ago, and they're correct. Now, the only part where you get some hope and you say it's not the same as the private equity examples that we have given is that this company, I don't know how you pronounce it, Otro, whatever, Capital.
Yep.
They specialize already across sports, entertainment, and media. So maybe they will. Maybe it'll be different. That's like this is their specialty, but I don't know, man. We'll see how it checks out for Utah. And then part of this whole conversation is centered around the money that is made in the college football playoff. And you got Paul Feinbaum going on Get Up the other day saying that Group of Five should just be out of the conversation entirely for the CFP. Right now, it's a 12-team playoff. There's conversations happening as we speak, actually, to expand to either 16 or 24.
They got 6 weeks to figure it out.
They extended the deadline was originally the
today
first
or whatever. Yeah,
it was this month, so they extended it. Yes,
Big Ten wants 24, SEC wants 16. We're going to get expansion. We just don't know what number. Okay. But as it currently sits with 12, we know this year there's 2 Group of 5 schools in for the first time ever. Paul Feinbaum said, let's just not invite them to the party. And I think and he's taken a lot of heat for this, and that's fine. I think the setup for college football in the playoff, unless we do have major expansion, you're not going to ever see 2 Group of 5 schools in it again. And we can pretend and act like, well, let's not ban them and pretend that we're inviting them to the table. If this was, we said it on Monday, the Group of 5 getting 2 schools in this year was the worst thing that happened to their chances of being part of the dance long term. Yeah. I really believe that. And these kind of comments are exactly that.
Then what do you do? They're a member organization of the NCAA. So unless the Power Four are going to completely separate, if I were the small schools, why am I a part of the NCAA? You don't serve me. You only serve 40 teams. We're 300 members deep. You're serving 20% of the entire organization if you're letting the other ones completely even eliminate us from the conversation. So unless you're going to do a Group of 5 championship tournament.
I think, yeah. Unless you have a major expansion.
JMU and Tulane are the 1 and the 2 seeds, then that's not the case. And look, we don't think that relegation systems are in place. I don't understand why they always act. This is what really does bother me about all college sports just in general, and this happens in the tournament too. It's not different for basketball versus the other one. You act so offended because you got 1 spot taken away. Oh, boo-hoo. I'm sorry you lost 4 games in the SEC or 3 games in the SEC.
Wow, that's what we just got done talking about.
Yeah,
it's money. We just got done talking about that's the reason why.
Yeah.
Not only is it ego and pride and all that, but it's all money.
If I do worse at my job, I make less money. If I do good at my job, I make more. I'm sorry that you want an unfair system that completely eliminates people like Tulane from doing a good job and earning money and getting to compete in the tournament with you. We don't need to
guess I would ask.
I think there's
just because they're at a smaller school.
Yeah. Well, I think, and to your point though, Cody, is that it's a little bit different, but I think the comparison of it's not Tulane and JMU's fault that Missouri's in the SEC. It's not their fault that Missouri chose to take more money, and as a result, significantly reduce their chances of going to said college football playoff because they decided to take more money. If it's along the lines of who's the best teams, then I think it's hard to argue.
Worst way to do it.
It's hard to argue for the Group of 5 teams just because of that. But I think the way that the current format is, though, now, I don't think Paul Feinbaum complaining about it to me, I don't think makes it any harder or tougher for JMU and Tulane to get in because the format is the format. I think that as long as it is the way it is right now, 1 Group of 5 team is guaranteed a spot in. No matter how right or wrong people think it is, there's a guaranteed spot, and it's their best chance of making it right now. Because if you were to say, well, you know what, let's go, we'll allow the Group of 5 teams in, but only if they are ranked inside of the top 12. We're not going to see that happen probably ever again in all likelihood. I know Boise State was floating on the cusp of it last year.
It's already a completely imbalanced system, and now they don't even want to let the little guys.
Yeah, they want to let the little guy. And in fairness, too, I get the Tulane lost to Ole Miss by 35 points. I understand that.
And both these schools are anywhere from 18 to 22-point underdogs.
But I do think in the same breath, there were people, I don't know if Paul Feinbaum was one of them, who don't like the Group of 5 teams like that Duke. Hey, they won the ACC. They should take one of the spots. In all fairness, they must have not looked at the schedule this year because Tulane beat Duke, and they won the ACC title game. So I think that they should have a seat at the table, but in the 12-team format, I just don't think it's going to happen. And maybe it takes the teams expanding more, but I think, Cody, to your point about how the NCAA, we shouldn't be a part of the NCAA anymore, that's not what the Group of 5 teams are going to do. That's what the Power 4 conferences are going to do. They'll break away from the NCAA, and then the smaller schools will just stay within the NCAA, just like the FCS schools and the D2 schools, and those are. I think that's how it would go more if they were to expand and break away, I guess.
Right, because again, the current setup, the college football playoff is not run by the NCAA right
Correct.
now
It's by
already.
the
So
CFP committee or
so
whatever
actually,
it
like the current CFP, they would go do their own thing without the group of five, and then the group of five, the NCAA would have to, for the first time at this level, create their own playoff like they do, as you said, at the FCS. But remember, right now, the NCAA is not who's running any of this currently. They handle the what do you call it, regulation of the sanctions, et cetera, and recruiting violations.
Of FBS
but
football.
the actual playoff and the championship, we mentioned is like NCAA national champions. It's not really. You're a college football playoff national champion.
That's why the trophy is not a NCAA champion trophy that like they get.
Instead,
at the
it
Final
looks
Four
like, as Cody described to us last year, and now has ruined it for everybody. It looks like something from the female anatomy. Thank you,
that's
Cody.
correct. I do believe that that's what that trophy looks like, and it will remain looking like that for the rest of you.
Until you guys just
forever. No, I just look. I don't understand why you are so threatened by the idea that a group. Well, if you want to keep it to just only one group of five team gets in, fine.
Yeah.
And I guess in the off year that there's the number 2 team in the country is a group of 5, and the number 12 team in the country stinks to be the 12. Not really a thing that's going to happen. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter. It's just of all the inequality. And look, I don't have to point out. You want me to pull up the other college football playoff results? Because I'll tell you right now, I can find 20, 30-point losses. Tennessee got their ass kicked.
By 25 points.
Oregon got worked. Blowouts.
SMU is a power conference team. They lost by 28.
The same as fight songs and stickers on helmets. Blowouts are a part of life in college football. They happen all the time across the sport, and almost every weekend there's massive blowouts. There's a talent disparity.
That argument is tiring. Because Paul Feinbaum was like, they're a 20-point underdog.
And they are, and they're not. The games are not going to be close, and that's true. I would wonder for the majority of sports fans. We're talking just football because to me it is not the same at all. I know we want to compare it to the NCAA tournament. It's just not. There's too many differences. Number of teams and the discrepancy of the third best player on a small conference team versus a Power 5. The gap is just not the same resources wise. But what would fans want? This is the question for me. If you're just a casual college football fan, not the diehard, not you and Bank, Drew, like you're going to watch no matter, I don't care who's playing.
No, of course.
But the casual fan, which is ultimately with any of these leagues what they need, the casual fan, are they more likely to watch this or next weekend or whatever if it is Oregon against, I don't know, Vanderbilt, or Oregon Tulane? And this is just me speaking, text line, let me know. As a fairly casual college football observer, I would rather see Diego Pavia, who's going to the Heisman Trophy ceremony, and Vanderbilt play, even if you told me they were also going to lose by 17. You're like, why does it matter? I know the players on that team. I have intrigue. I want to watch Diego Pavia. He's fun. He's intriguing. This is not me saying that the committee should have screwed these over. I'm just saying, for a casual fan, who do you think they would rather watch?
100% it's the Brands. They would rather see Texas than JMU, 100%, which I think is...
And that's the struggle, right? Long term for this whole thing.
It's not necessarily I'm not going to say it's a tiring argument, but I understand why people would rather see Texas play than James Madison.
Weird. It's because I'm probably in the minority, admittedly. But
even if it is a
I'd
blowout.
rather watch James Madison in that case.
I'd rather watch Tulane. If I knew,
I don't need to see another Texas football game. I'm good.
If you told me there was going to be a blowout,
I'd rather watch Arch Manning than I couldn't tell you who the hell the quarterback is at James Madison.
Alonzo Barnett.
Sure. Cody didn't know either.
No, I knew it was Alonzo Barnett. I can't believe you didn't.
We had the whole thing with once we get closer to draft time, we'll have to do that whole thing again.
Yes, we will. That's going to have to be a bit.
Boy.
You do know Francisco Mendoza plays in Indiana, right? Yeah. Okay.
Fernando.
You
didn't even get his name right.
See, here you go.
You called him Francisco.
Fernando. Thank you.
But yeah,
My goodness.
I think that's part of the because you're dealing with like the casual fans who are like, I'd rather see the better team play.
And let's be real, you guys know deep down, and this is not the criteria that they use, and that's fine. And I'm moving the goalposts, admittedly, but I'm sorry, Notre Dame is better than Tulane. Nobody can argue otherwise.
Yes.
Right? And that's not how we do this.
The second we set that standard, I would tell you that I think the committee got it right choosing Miami. I think Notre Dame's a better team. The second we just make it subjective and it's just who's better,
I'm just
Alabama gets in a couple of years
ago. Talking about group of fives, not comparing power fours. Group of fives. Like I don't know if there's ever going to be a circumstance with the top 15. Let's say, I don't know, the top 15 ranked power four schools. I don't know if you'll ever truly be able to tell me any of the top 15 Power 4 schools are worse than the number 1 Group of 5 school.
I don't, and hence the reason why.
Occasionally, right, Boise. I mentioned the Boise Sheriff.
But were they really better than though any of the?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Were they better though than the any of the top 15?
They were 13-0 beat Oklahoma.
But were they?
They're not better than those teams.
Well,
I think
again,
so.
this is the whole debate. We can't even cite record because that's the whole issue people have with the Group of 5 is saying, well, who did they play?
And in fairness to Boise State, look, their one loss or one of their 2 losses that also happened in the playoff. The other one was the loss to Oregon. They only lost by 3 points.
Yeah.
So I think there's some argument there. But, in fairness to that argument, where's Tulane ranked this year? They're ranked 20th.
They are.
I think that's where.
But that's still subjective. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
the
whole thing is subjective.
Tulane might be better than Miami. Are we sure 100%?
No, we're not 100%
question?
sure. They haven't played yet, so we're not 100% sure.
Yeah, 100%. I think we can never be sure, which is part of the thing with the human with humans deciding these things.
Yeah.
There's subjectiveness.
Get me the
bias.
BCS again.
But I think if you mentioned a percent, Cody. If you took 20%, so right, the NCAA tournament is roughly 18% of teams out of all D1, 363, I believe there is. Out of all those, 68 make the field. That's about 18% of college basketball teams make it. If you're like, well, you know what? Let's do a similar percentage to college football. There's 136 teams in FBS. The 17% mark, 18% mark is 24. And we see that in other places where I think that is a legitimate conversation where if you still wanted to go the route that you're talking about, Cody, and I agree with you. I think this should be included. That's the way that I think it should be, because if you had 24 teams make it, you're going to naturally have a Group of 5 team in there just based on the final top 25 rankings at the end of the year. It's a natural way. And even if they're the 24 seed, fine. But there would be a Group of 5 team included naturally in a 2014 playoff where, not that there wouldn't be any debate still, but there'd be a way to include them without having a discussion.
So, somebody went through and went through what the BCS rankings would have been if we still had, like, what it would have been this year. Now, one of the polls that they used, the rankings back then, don't exist anymore, so they had to combine the AP poll. The Harris poll was part of the equation. That doesn't exist.
BYU would be in by a
But basically, this is what, if we were still doing the old BCS model, here's what the 12-team playoff would have been. Number 1 would have been Indiana. Number 2 would have been Ohio State, still. Number 3 would have been Georgia, 4 Tech, 5 Oregon, 6 Mississippi, Ole Miss, 7 Texas A&M, 8 Oklahoma, Notre Dame would have been 9, Alabama would have been 10, Miami would have been 11, BYU would have got in at number 12. Just left out would have been Vandy at 13, Texas 14, Utah 15, USC 16, Tulane would have been 18, James Madison and the BCS would have been 19. So the BCS formula would have kicked the Group of 5 schools out. I'm not saying which is right or wrong, but it's kind of interesting.
If they did the 24, though, I think.
Yeah, if they did 24,
but
here's the thing, Drew. If they did 24, Iowa at 8-4 is going to be like, this is the problem when we get into expanding to 24.
I totally understand.
This is the playoffs in every sport, though. We had a 7th baseball team and they're 81-81, and we had a 7th NFL team and they're 10-7 Miami, and they can't even come to Kansas City.
If you look at 32 NFL
teams, 4 loss Iowa would be.
But and this is where we're only.
I'm way less interested in watching that than Tulane.
But this is where we're only taking in college sports. We're taking a significantly less amount of teams percentage-wise compared to any any league. There's 14 teams that make the playoffs. That's half.
They also just have way more teams.
No,
you can't take 50%.
100%. But we're taking 50% of the NFL teams and throwing them in. That's why you get the 8 and 9s or the 9 and 8s, if you will. Where, again,
I will say
to make the college football playoff this year, you basically had to be 10-2 or better.
Yeah, I will say the 2014 playoff does solve one of your issues, which is how do you make bowl games better? Those bowl games just have the Pop-Tarts Bowl is actually round 1 of the college football playoff. You know, like the play-in games.
And have it on campus. Yeah, 2 rounds on campus.
Like, I mean, you can solve some of the bowl stuff with you're going to do your branding, you're going to do the thing, the Pop-Tart goes down and is nihilist and and you're going to do the show and all of that stuff. But it's just a part of, you're going to do the bowl pageantry stuff.
That adds
it's just a part of the playoff and still matters.
That takes care of another 4 bowl games. We still got
another. Take care of a lot.
We still got another 30 that are meaningless. But yes, it would help with some of the other issues around the bowl system. All right, up next, we'll do a quick what's trending, and then Josh Klingler, Chief Sideline reporter, going to join us right here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey,
You already know that there's nothing like a custom designed and crafted jewelry treasure from House of Diamonds. A one-of-a-kind creation built from scratch for a one-of-a-kind love. But sometimes you have a need for speed. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, and just in case custom jewelry isn't in the cards, we have a case. Actually, we have 19 cases filled with some of the most beautiful handcrafted jewelry you'll ever see. Earrings, rings, bracelets, pearls, pendants, and fine gemstones. A lot of it we created in our shop. All of it carries our name with the quality and craftsmanship you've come to expect from House of Diamonds. And any item can be tweaked and customized just for you. Think of it as Custom Express. Custom Express or custom from scratch. Get it at locally owned, family owned House of Diamonds. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
FanDuel is the #1 sports book for same-game parlays. From points and rebounds to threes and assists, FanDuel is the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay, or you can track every stat live all in one easy-to-use app. And right now, the perfect time to join because, well, new customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So you can bet on the players you love the way you want. Head to FanDuel.com/Alex to sign up today. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and President, Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
When cold weather hits, the last thing you want is a heating system that fails. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter for an $89 heating system tune-up. Keeping your system running at peak efficiency can help prevent costly breakdowns, lower energy bills, and ensure your system is ready when temperatures drop. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee, are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
The holidays are here, and so's the newest Academy Sports and Outdoors, right in your neighborhood. Score kids ride-ons that say, my 8-year-old's truck is nicer than mine. Grills and smokers that say, there is no wrong way to cook a turkey. And new Nike fleece hoodies that say, I keep it chill no matter the temp. Academy has all the legendary Christmas gifts your family wants at undefeatable prices, because here, fun can't lose. Win Christmas at your new Academy Sports and Outdoors.
For moments worth more, celebrate this holiday season with Stella Artois. Stella Artois is teaming up with your local Hy-Vee and Johnny's to help make your holiday gatherings a little brighter. Whether you're hosting family, catching up with friends, or raising a toast to togetherness, let Stella elevate the moment. Visit your nearby Hy-Vee or Johnny's and enter at the Stella Artois displays for a chance to win a $100 gift card. For more details, go to 965thefan.com. Stella Artois. Enjoy responsibly.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past 2 years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage is only $75 per month, level for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can buy $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110. Guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rates for 20 years. And if you're a smoker, we have great rates for you as well. At the Term Lifeline, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. So if you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call right now for a free quote.
800-676-1090. 800-676-1090. 800-676-1090. That's 800-676-1090.
Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes are based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting exam required to qualify.
Paid for by Airtime Media.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. RENNER forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew a Halloween costume would change my life and lead me to Renner Garage Door? Renner's KC's go-to team for service, repair, and replacement.
RENNER. RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. What's trending?
God dang!
Brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit tellytire.com today.
We'll start with the Royals. Well, they get the 6th pick in the MLB draft. Lottery was last night. They finished 16th in baseball last year, which meant they had like a 0.8% chance for the number 1 overall pick and only had, I think, a 10% chance to get the 6th overall pick. They did, though. Congrats on that one. The draft lottery actually broke their way for the first time.
Yeah. Rule 5 draft was today. The Royals did not take anyone in the first round of the Rule 5 draft, nor did they have any of their players taken. As a reminder, some of their former first-rounders, like Frank Mazzucato and others, were technically up for grabs. Just letting you know. Next up on What's Trending, the NFL did announce today it'll turn to Munich, Germany in 2026 and 2028 to play regular season games as part of their multi-year partnership with the city of Munich and FC Bayern Munich. People do think the Chiefs will go back to Germany at some point, maybe not next year, we'll see. The games will also be played on that stadium, as we've mentioned. We'll see what the Chiefs had, at least on that category. We still know people watch the Chiefs. They're the 5 most watched NFL games this year. Question is, do they already have those things in place?
We were looking at the schedule next year. You can already see where a majority of the schedule is. They're playing the AFC East next year. They're playing the NFC West next year. Yeah, not the best conference.
Patriots
divisional.
and Bills, and you got to play the West, which is one of the more tough divisions.
Those are guaranteed divisions, and then you'll play the 3rd place team, assuming they finish 3rd. Looks like they will, of the other divisions. Elsewhere on What's Trending, Baseball Hall of Fame announced today, Joe Buck is the Ford C. Frick Award winner. He'll be heading to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
You might hate him for his World Series call during the Royals run, but I think it's very good broadcaster, and he's been doing it long enough. That's just the way that it goes. Lastly on What's Trending, Pete Alonso heading to the Orioles on a 5-year, $155 million deal. Slugger hit 41 home runs last year. Seems to be a good fit for that ballpark. Maybe a slight overpay, but I don't imagine the Orioles will care. They pay almost no one ever, so this is a pretty big deal for the Orioles to spend that kind of cash.
And then they'll trade Adley Rutschman is what will happen, too, because they got that other catcher that they called up.
Yeah.
Was it Basalo or whatever his name is?
Yeah, they had the other top kid.
But, Rutschman.
They got a very good infield.
They do. How about the AL East just loading up even stronger than what it already has been? That's crazy. Meanwhile, the Mets, I think their fans are not happy about what's happening there with the New York Mets. All right, let's talk some Chiefs football, though, with Josh Klingler, Chiefs sideline reporter for the Chiefs Radio Network, getting a noon kickoff coming up on Sunday, Chiefs-Chargers. He'll be on the sideline. And Kling, we were saying, much like Patrick Mahomes saying this is kind of unprecedented territory, for you being on the sidelines, this is not the normal vibe the final 4 games or so of the year.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of, as you can imagine, a lot of demand around the country to talk about what's going on with the Chiefs. And I guess my standard line is they're living the other half, right? This is how most NFL teams are every season. We're just not used to doing that, where it's, playing down the stretch and maybe having to do some things to get yourself in the playoffs versus a Chiefs team, obviously, that's been prepared to figure out a way to get the number 1 seed and not be, fretting whether or not they're going to be in the postseason. So the weirdness continues. I heard you guys talking baseball today. I'm not ready for that. So that hit me a little bit hard today, as I know the baseball talk has started to pick up, and you guys were promoting Vern coming on, and I'm like, no, slow down. We have football to go yet. But yeah, it's kind of strange.
What about the feeling on the sideline? Klingler, we were both in the locker room after the game, and I know you've been in losing locker rooms, whether it was Chiefs or whether it was KU basketball back in the day after a Final Four loss or Elite Eight loss, and so you've been in some down and depressing locker rooms, if you will. What was the mood on the sideline though? Because that's where nobody else but you were really there.
I think because that game was close, right? I think it was when it made a 2-score game, right? And then I think everybody went, oh crap, But the missed opportunities in the third quarter, I didn't see a lot of panic necessarily, but you just thought, okay, they're going to get that punch, go ahead drive, and it was obviously the sideline was pretty hyped for the most part because the defense was just killing it, right? So the energy was great because Chris Jones was a beast in the second half of that game, and so the energy was great. I think right up until it became kind of a 2-score game without not enough time, and then you kind of saw it, and then obviously that filtered over the locker room where Alex, there was everybody's really reflective. The ones that didn't just pack up and get out were sitting there, kind of sitting around in kind of stunned disbelief. So they're still playing as if they have a shot. They do have a shot technically. So, I think, we'll see. I know Danon Hughes had talked about this even before this past game, that, he wanted to see, these are testing moments for people. Do you want to fight? Do you want to show your coaches you're in it? And you definitely don't want to show on video that you're not in it. So I'm expecting they're going to go bust it this week and see if they can get lucky. It certainly has to start with a win against the Chargers, and Chargers about the only team you can catch, right? It seems right now, based on all the math. So you got to go and beat the Chargers. So at least for one more week, they're in it.
When you look at where and I'm not there yet, but fan sentiment always goes this way and it goes south in a hurry. Do you feel like Andy's lost his touch? A lot of this is just it turns into ages stuff, right? He's slipping. He's 67 years old. He doesn't have the thought process. I think he's always operated this way on 4th down, and I hate it. I want him to have a plan and not just go with his gut in those moments specifically, Kling. What have you made of the season from Andy Reid? He's obviously struggled in areas where others have too.
Well, I think you could call Philadelphia and say, we didn't tell you they don't run the ball. If that's been a theme for years and years and years, the feeling of not running the football enough, certainly. But yeah, that's been maybe the strangest part of this season, right? That everybody has had a part in it. I think there are times where you can go, well, the players are just screwing up, right? Yep. You could point and say they're well coached, they're just screwing up. Well, this year it looks like not everybody's kind of been on their game. Certainly special teams have taken a step back. The offense has taken a step back. Offensively, they've had, really, really good moments, and then third downs continue to be kind of baffling. So I think everybody's really had a hand in it. I thought the game the other day looked exactly how I feel this season has gone.
Yes.
Doinked field goal, ball bouncing off a hand and landing in somebody's lap, perplexing calls on a 4th down, or even going on a 4th down when your percentages weren't great. Kind of like everybody had a hand in it to a certain extent in that loss, or you could say had a hand in not helping the team win. And that's really been kind of the synopsis of 2025, right? That it's been the ball hasn't bounced their way. They haven't produced their own breaks. They executed up to snuff. And it's all led to being where they are right now.
We're talking to Josh Klingler here on 96.5 The Fan. I thought it was interesting, the national conversation a little bit in the last couple of days. I saw multiple people mentioning that, the offensive line is something, they got to make some changes there. They're hurt. They got multiple injuries. I actually feel really good about the O-line long-term suddenly. They're in their best spot O-line-wise heading into an off-season than they've been in years.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, we don't know the extent of Josh Simmons, but, I'm believing he'll probably be ready for training camp, right? Pole was a guy that's very interesting because was hearing he was kind of a guy like whispered about at training camp. I'm sure you guys probably heard it too. Like watch this young guy here. And then I was really surprised when they didn't protect him. But when the season started, I'm like, wow, that was kind of a guy they kind of penciled in as kind of a project tackle. And I thought, well, you're going to have one of those guys in the near future, depending what you did with Juwan Taylor. And that was maybe a little bit before we knew exactly what Simmons was, but they might have found a little diamond in the rough in Pole. So luckily they were able to kind of get him back. So that leaves you options. You still have Juwan Taylor. You still have pretty much everybody if you want, or you have some decisions probably to get younger and cheaper because you've had a couple of young guys step up and play pretty well. Again, Pole is just one game of work, but that's a pretty good test to get thrown in that kind of fire and be able to pass that thing. He's got to be a guy that you think has some upside for you going forward. So no, I mean, yeah, the other day I was asked a question on a national show last night, and it was about, man, what'd you think of that Houston defense? I mean, they were absolutely wrecking up front, and I'm like, they're good, but there were 3 backup offensive linemen for the Chiefs. Like I put my number ones in, and I take my chances that they're going to be able to hold off the pass rush. So, that was an unknown portion going into that game, right? Could that offensive line hold up? I thought they did a decent enough job to be able to get the job done. And no, I feel good about the line moving forward because you have options, right?
Yeah.
So, and you have probably some cost-saving options too, which is going to be great, I think, for the Chiefs in the offseason.
Where are you on the state of the future of the wide receivers and where they are right now? It appears Xavier Worthy's taken a step back. Yards per game-wise, Rashee Rice is still on pace to be a 1,200-yard wide receiver, but we were asking about off-season extensions that would, normally come in this offseason, year 3 going into year 4 with no fifth-year option because he's a second-round pick. How do you feel about the wide receivers, I guess, specifically Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice?
Yeah, and then maybe even throw in Hollywood Brown, right? Like, I thought there would be more of an identity for what that group is and what that group can do. Damon obviously played the position in the NFL, and he's talked a lot about the kind of the discipline of running routes and obviously catching footballs and those types of things. And I feel like that spot has been lacking, that there's not enough consistency necessarily at all times in that wide receiver group. And then figuring out exactly what your offensive identity is and who's going to get the ball. I mean, everybody got to eat lasted like a week and a half.
Ooh, yeah, that died in a hurry.
Right, that died almost as quickly as the Reaper thing, right?
Grim Reaper, yeah,
yeah, the Reaper of the playoffs, which should have had a longer life, but everybody's got to eat, should have too, and so no, I think that there needs to be a better attention to detail, I think, from that group, and then really hone in on working what your abilities are and how you fit in the offense. Yeah, Worthy's been a little bit perplexing because he was a guy that was on a steady climb last year, and then by the end of the year, you're like, holy crap, they're going to open up the playbook and be able to give him a whole bunch of stuff. And obviously injuries set him back for a portion of the season. Rice's recent drops are concerning. I know that the coaching staff's kind of poo-pooed that, right? But, I mean, he's had some key drops the last couple of weeks, and those are just attention drops, right? Like the 4th down play the other day. I mean, that just catch the ball. It's a first down. You don't have to be looking for extra yards, and taking your eye off the ball and missing passes like that are pretty inexcusable out of, what's supposed to be a number 1 guy. So I think they're going to have to get better as a group. I don't know what the room's going to look like next year either,
Well, there's a lot of guys not under contract. It's really just
right. Yeah.
I think they'll find a way to get tight
they may be, revamping, other than obviously Rice and Worthy. You may be revamping, a good portion of that group, and probably Tyquan Thornton, probably part of it too. But can you bring back Juju for one more year? I don't know. Hollywood Brown probably hasn't shown you anything other than you could get him cheap again if you wanted to. But I think they need to find maybe another tall type of target. I know we've been pining for those for years, but I see these teams come out against the Chiefs and have 3 guys that are 6'3", 6'4", and I'm like, all right, I'd like to have a guy or two of that build.
Kling, I can ask you more about the Chiefs in just a minute, but can we briefly discuss the idea that a 44-year-old, 5 years removed from the NFL, that you covered quite a bit in your time here in Kansas City, Phillip Rivers, returned to the NFL, who might very well start this Sunday For the Colts, how's this going to go? One, this is not meant to be like, I get it, man. We all eat too much during the holidays or whatever. He's not looking quite as svelte as his playing days either.
Well, nor should he. I mean, it wasn't like he was like working out to be ready to go at a moment's notice. So, he probably was like, "Hey, give me a little heads up on this thing." But I find it interesting, and I love it too, because like if a team's willing to do it, go do it, right? Otherwise, he's never going to know if he's ever had doubts. Like, man, did I stop too early, or can I still do it? A team's willing to give you the opportunity to prove it. I love it. So go out there and do it. I don't want him to win, obviously. I want the Colts to finish off their what appears to be. I think they're looking at a fold, right, at this stage of things. So get them out of the way. But I'm intrigued to see if he still can zing it a little bit and do a little bit offensively. I mean, what a quarterback mess they've suddenly got themselves into, though, in Indianapolis. I mean, that turn from what they thought was the story of a season kind of thing to an absolute mess in a heartbeat. Because if that's your option, oof, things were pretty dire. I was trying to figure out a way they could get Joe Flacco. I don't, but
just kind of have to release him.
That would have made more sense. That Flacco plays for like 8 teams this season before the year's out.
The problem is you need like someone like Flacco or Russell Wilson to like badmouth someone, like to like try to sleep with someone's wife or something. You got to go like way out of line to get yourself cut in those teams.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know if even bad-mouthing an organization or demanding a trade would work, but you'd have to do something to maybe you question the number one guy, and I don't know, something to stop yourself. You're saying
start talking to the press
out of a contract. Yeah.
You got to go almost too far, Kling. That's for sure. No, I just think look, I'm curious for the normal reason someone's curious. A 44-year-old's going to take 5 years off of football. Last play during COVID is going to try to play against some of the top 5 defenses in the league. Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, I think he's going to notice right away. Man, they're moving faster than I remember. So we'll see if he can get out of harm's way. I'm sure he can still kind of throw it, but can he get out of trouble? That'll be the question.
We're talking to Josh Klingler here. What about the AFC outside of just the Colts, Kling? I mean, you got the Broncos and Patriots atop the conference. 2 quarterbacks that one has played in the postseason, the other hasn't played in the postseason, but it's still very little experience. Do you buy into what the Broncos are capable of doing come January, or the Patriots more?
Boy, I mean, I do like the Broncos defense. I liked Bo Nix last year more than this year, but I saw some things last year that go, that makes some sense. Kid can sling it down the field. Kid can use his legs to get out of trouble. Those types of things. He hasn't been quite as sharp in that regard this year. So probably if you're asking me to pick one or the other, I'd probably lean towards the Broncos defense, because I think that defense is really, really good. That's a championship level defense. I guess looking around the rest of the AFC, the problem I have, guys, you probably have this too, like, if the Chiefs play their game, they can beat any one of these teams.
They've been in every game this year except for the Chargers game, the very first game of the year.
The problem is they haven't beaten any of these teams. But that's what's so sickening when you look at the standings and you realize, okay, they're in 10th. They're on you got to squint to see a possibility for them to get in. But it's like nobody in the AFC brings a ton of fright to me. I still think the Bills are probably the one team, even though they're behind the Patriots. It's like they've at least been to a little bit of this and done that. And I think Josh Allen can be scary in the postseason. So I still think if it were to start today, I'd probably like the Bills to come out of the AFC. But again, I look around the whole thing and go, Chiefs, come on, man. You can literally beat all of these teams if you're playing your best and not playing clean football, playing smart football.
Yeah.
They just haven't done it. So that's the troubling part. It's gonna look like a big missed opportunity. I mean, it is anyway, right? When you have Patrick Mahomes healthy for an entire season, if you are to miss the playoffs, that's a huge miss. But I'm also thinking, like, this isn't a couple years ago Buffalo or a couple years ago Baltimore. This is a weaker overall AFC, I think. And so you're going to have a missed opportunity if you don't make the playoffs, having to look at this AFC, that would give you some upset stomachs.
I do like it's so weird about it is that if all the miracles happen, and by the way, I think the least believable thing of all the things they need to happen is the Chiefs winning 4 games in a row. Not all the losses they need. Based on the schedule, those things are actually somewhat plausible. But if it happened, Kling, I know I'd talk myself into it. If they were the 7th seed and they were in the playoffs, I'd be like, I trust any of these quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Bo Nix, Drake May, all those guys going to stand in their way? Like, I don't think so.
You win 4 in a row and you're into the playoffs. We're all going to be saying no one's going to want to see the Chiefs, and I think they're probably going to be right. Because if they reel off 4 in a row, I'll take them anywhere. You can go to Foxborough, you can go back to Denver, all those things. You'd be talking yourself into it for sure. But can they win 4 in a row? This team doesn't look like they've had, or they haven't had the capability to go on a long win streak. So. I'd love for it to start now, but you haven't seen enough signs that could be the case.
Kling, appreciate it, man. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Yeah, I got 4 games no matter what, so I'm still living game by game. So I don't want to be free in January.
Yeah, I mean, you have 1 away game left, and in Nashville, it could be a little cold there, but nothing too crazy, right? Vegas is warm weather. Yeah, I guess it's a dome.
Yeah, and 2 really bad teams away from home, so it's like, okay, get this one against the Chargers.
Let yourself believe.
I know. I'm doing that. Okay, beat the Chargers. Titans are garbage. Denver might not have enough to play for, and then leave yourself something. Figure out a way to be still in it on the last day of the season.
Please.
That'd be great.
Please.
There you go. Josh Klingler, he joins us each and every Wednesday here on Cody and Gold.
Badmouth someone try to sleep with someone's wife or something.
Yeah, what? What?
I didn't say actually do it. I said the threat. Say it if you're trying to get cut and be a starting quarterback.
Of all people, too, you use Russell Wilson as an example.
Yeah, that's true. Look, Russ was better than Riley Leonard.
Well,
sure.
I mean,
gives you a better chance than Riley Leonard, know?
He does have Sierra, though.
Joe Flacco on another team would have been hilarious. Just another team Joe Flacco finds himself on.
He's already played for the Colts, too. I mean, he was...
True.
I just meant again.
But yeah, he's... How
The
many teams has he not played for at this point?
The Colts have had plenty of old veteran quarterbacks in the last 5 years. Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz.
Honestly, if you are an old veteran quarterback, you've played for the Colts.
Seems like it, doesn't it?
The Colts recycled a ton of their options.
And it is true. Like, Anthony Richardson would have had, if it wasn't for this freak injury during pregame. Now, I think we've seen enough of him, but he would be in a spot right now to change his entire career, right? He'd be starting, prove that you can win a couple games, get him in the playoffs. He would have been able to set himself up to actually, be the starting quarterback again next year. All of that. Nope. He's not even available, not healthy. He had one of those bands that slapped back and hit him in the eye. Broke a bone.
That is
crazy.
Injury.
The veteran starting quarterbacks who have started for the Colts, not including Peyton Manning, really, although he was an older veteran quarterback. Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers, Gardner Minshew, Matt Ryan, Daniel Jones. I mean,
they were in quarterback purgatory, just trying to find a way in the playoffs is what they were doing.
Nick Foles. These are all the quarterbacks who have at some point been on their roster in their last 10 years. It is an impressive list of aging veteran quarterbacks. They went back to Phillip Rivers. I hope he starts on Sunday.
An impressive list of mid.
I don't know. I don't want him to start this Sunday because I think that is truly setting up